Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Hey, happy Tuesday! Woo! Welcome into the ultimate Cleveland sports show. Everyone have a great weekend?
Wonderful.
No. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
ticked off.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, not even about baseball.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
officially, by the way, filed a complaint. I'm not making this up. This is not a story for I filed a complaint with the Attorney General's office, the state AG, this morning.
Wow.
So about what?
So, about 6 weeks ago, I bought a car from a place. I won't say the name exactly.
I remember you told me
but
about
it rhymes with Farlana. And so they gave us temporary plates, and they said, okay, you'll have your plates and your title in 6 weeks,
Yes.
before the plates run out. But if not, we'll give you more temporary plates. You'll be okay. Well, my wife's temporary plates ran out this weekend. And they called us last week and said, well, we just found out Ohio doesn't give it
Extensions.
extensions.
Yeah, they don't.
And I'm like, are you crazy? Where are my plates? Where's my title? They're like, well, it's in process. They couldn't give me a direct answer, nothing.
If you get pulled over,
So you're riding dirty
Yeah.
right now.
yeah, you'll be okay.
Yes. Well,
Because
it's my wife's
the
car,
officers
but yes.
usually give you a little leniency, but
Right.
the state doesn't.
Right. Well, I filed an official complaint with the state today.
Wow.
And the woman I spoke to said the complaint is filed, but she's gonna have somebody from the office try to get me an extra plate, even though it's not. They can make special exceptions.
they
Yeah.
need to do that.
No, they're
So
not
I
going to
was-
give you business.
And I'm like, it's annoying. You're on the phone with these idiots at Carvana, and they read off a script. I'm like, where is my car? Where are my plates? Blah, blah, blah. Well, we're sorry to disappoint you,
Yeah.
sir.
Yep.
It's the aim. It's the aim.
Aim them.
Apologize. What is
Thank
it?
you. Apologize to them. Acknowledge, inform,
Just makes
move
me
on.
angry.
Yeah.
Just makes me angry.
Or in Bull's case, acknowledge, ignore, move on.
That's right.
You can still get away though with anything because of COVID still. Like
That's
you can
true.
just be like, you're officer COVID, and they're just like,
Yeah.
all right, you don't have to pay your student
That's it.
Have you
loans or
seen
get
the
your car
lines
registered.
at the BMV?
Right.
Exactly. I don't
you
feel
weren't
safe.
going to say the name of the company, but you did.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. They deserve to have
He
it.
masked it
Yeah.
poorly at first, and then completely even abandoned that and just
Yeah,
said
yeah,
the name
exactly.
of it really quickly. Put the website up. Never go there.
Well,
That's
listen,
what they do?
it's great to see you guys again.
Yeah. Good to
and,
see you
and
too.
great to reconnect with the audience. Yesterday was our first, I think it was our first regularly scheduled Monday through Friday day that we didn't do a show, right?
No, there was
Memorial
one
Day.
other.
Memorial
Day.
Day.
Yeah.
So yesterday, obviously, was the observance for Juneteenth.
Yeah.
So we took that day off. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you had a great weekend. If you
Also,
were
my dad,
lucky
Mike
enough to
Polk
have that.
Senior's birthday, just so you guys know.
Yesterday.
Nice.
June 19th.
Oh, well,
Man
Happy
who I thought was
birthday.
dead for some reason.
Yes,
I don't know why.
exactly. He's not. So
He is very much alive.
Happy birthday, Mike Polk Senior.
At some point, can we get him in on the show?
Yeah, believe me, he would love that.
I think we need
It would
to
be
do that at
obnoxious
some
for me,
point.
but fun for everyone else.
I enjoy his company. He's a different kind of funny from Mike.
Yeah.
Mike is just out and out funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your dad's like kind of quietly funny.
You know, understand though, like I love my dad, but it really is. My friends always are trying to talk about how fun my dad is and how great he is because
is.
they only get my dad as cameos.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean? He comes through, he's like, hey, I'm gonna buy everybody around, buy everybody. And everybody's like, that guy was great. And I'm like, yeah, you didn't have to go on vacation with him to Myrtle Beach when you were a kid. It was not that fun, believe me. He's that for like
He's
5
a great
minutes.
guy, and
He
we
is.
do
Happy
need to
birthday.
find a reason to bring him in.
Sure.
So we
Never
need
need
to
a
do
Next
that
time Bernie
soon.
Kosar comes on.
Yeah, you know what?
Let's
That's a great
reunite
idea.
the gang. From
Yeah.
that
You're right.
infamous.
If you just put a bottle of whiskey out, he'll just show up. That's like a trap.
That was last week.
We had it on Friday with
Yeah.
the Quell. There was
I know.
whiskey. Yeah.
Okay, let's start with, and this is rare that we do this because
Yeah.
usually it's Browns talk, but we can't ignore what the Cleveland Guardians are doing. They go into tonight's game against
That's
the
a great
Minnesota
We'd
sequence.
Twins.
like to, but we
Believe
can't.
it.
I don't like to.
We'd like to ignore baseball like
Listen,
the rest
if it
of you.
were up to Bull and I, it
Yeah.
would be 2 hours of Guardians
That's
talk
true.
every day.
That's true. That's true.
But we know that you guys would be sleeping
We'd
by
nod
15
off.
minutes ahead of
Yeah.
the hour. But look, let's take the standings, shall we?
Yeah.
They are, and this is amazing, over the last 21 games, they're the best team in Major League Baseball. 16-5. They're currently 34-28. They're just a game behind the Twins in the standings, which oddly enough, they begin a 3-game series with the Twins tonight. What's
Twins record-
changed?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
What there's the best record in baseball. Guys, I know when you look at who they've beaten here in this run of series wins, four of those teams absolutely sucks.
Trash.
Yeah.
One of them's okay, and another one's really good. And they still have 6 straight series wins. Hottest team in baseball. Bull, what's changed over the last 3 weeks?
A lot of things have changed. The biggest one, let's be honest, is the schedule. I mean, that's been a big part of it. But I think the back end of the bullpen, which has been great. I put up a tweet about it really since the 1st of May, but we have a graphic here. Clase and Eli Morgan, who are pitching the 8th. And really, Morgan's pitching like part of the 7th and the 8th. Sometimes he's going 2 innings.
Eli Morgan sounds like a cheap whiskey. Can we agree on that?
It does. Yeah.
All right.
The cousin of
Bottom shelf.
Since May 17th, 0 earned runs,
That's
13 hits
insane.
allowed, 42 Ks in 32 innings. Even if you go back, like these guys combined, like their first 5 or 6 appearances were not great. Morgan was the first couple of weeks of the season didn't pitch well. Neither did Clase. And even if you go back to the middle of April or late April, their numbers, it's not 0 earned runs, but it's still phenomenal. That's been a huge difference. There's also been more consistency in the lineup, right? They don't have anybody putting up huge production numbers
Other than
besides Jose,
yeah.
of course. But guys have overall they've been consistent at getting on base, doing enough. And the defense has also improved. There's a lot to like about what's going on with the team right now.
It kind of reminds me of 16. You talk about the back end of the bullpen.
Yeah.
In 16, they shortened games to 7 innings.
Yes.
So if you didn't jump on him before the 7th, you weren't going to score on Miller, who was, had a stretch
He
there
was
in
ridiculous.
16.
I mean,
He
that's
was
like
lights out.
yeah,
Still thought he should have been the closer
That was
in
crazy.
16. But, if you hand the bullpen a lead in the 6th or 7th inning, it's a win. And it kind of feels like that again with Morgan
does.
and Clase. They're just killing it.
And Morgan, he's not as dominant as Andrew Miller was. I mean, Andrew Miller for
Miller
that
was a
stretch
real-
was almost like nothing we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like for like a year and a half,
He
2
was
years,
close to Rivera.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was just absurd. But Morgan has found this niche, and the Indians/Guardians have done this with a lot of guys. And by the way, it wouldn't surprise me if eventually Morgan's in the rotation. Not this year, but at some point
he will be a starter.
he will be a starter.
I was at his first start last year.
Yeah.
It was like 30 degrees and raining
Right.
sideways, and he got torched early. And I couldn't believe Tito left him in there. And I was afraid of his development and his confidence and what that was going to do to him. But
Right. But
they
look at what
moved him
this
to
is
the
doing for
bullpen.
his confidence.
Well, it's built his
And
confidence
we've
back up,
seen
but
this,
he's
Jay.
a starter. He's
We've
got
seen
starter
this.
duration.
You know what this goes back to? You know who the first pitcher that struggled as a starter for a while? They sent him to the bullpen. He got himself right. It was Carlos Carrasco. Remember that?
Yeah.
Early in his career, he had struggles, and he got hurt, and then they put him in the bullpen at the
Tito
second
factor.
half of last year, or not last year, I can't remember the year now. And like in August, September, he was lights out in the bullpen, and then he went back into the rotation that next spring, and they've done that with a litany of guys now, and it's been big. And Clase right now is one of the most reliable closers in baseball.
Yeah, he started off the year very shaky.
He did.
A lot of blows, a lot of runs, and since then he's just been lights out. Mike?
A couple of interesting things about this team. First of all, going into the season, nobody predicted that they'd be here right now. I mean, I don't know if you did. I sure as hell didn't.
I did not.
No.
But what we were saying was, if they're going to get by, it's going to be because of their starting pitching. And we're going to have to overcome their hitting, and we're not exactly positive what we've got in the bullpen.
Correct.
And it's kind of gone the exact opposite.
It has.
Which is
Our
very
strength
crazy.
has turned into the thing that we're most unsure of.
Yeah.
The bullpen and the hitting have been ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah.
But a lot of this is, I think, so much of it is enthusiasm, especially with a young team and getting the mentality that they have. And it all starts with Jose Ramirez, it's kind of weird how I feel like when Lindor left that locker room, he never had any beef with him or anything like that, but it became clear now who the leader of that and who the heartbeat of that club is.
Right.
And it seems like he's really embraced this, and everybody loves him, and he's here for the right reasons, and he's making less money than he could somewhere else, and he wants to be here long term because some things are more important than money, and I think that philosophy has kind of snuck through between that and having Terry Francona there, who's obviously like very similarly minded and steady as they come. I think those two things are I think that he's really the catalyst for so much of this.
Yeah, well, we can't give him enough credit.
Did you guys see the video of Jose Ramirez and Freddie Freeman's interaction?
I didn't,
the other day?
no.
It was so funny because it's just Ramirez's personality is so infectious through the whole team. He's calling it, like he's in the dugout, and like a bunch of the younger players like hanging with him because they're all hanging with him because they love him. And he calls out to Freddie Freeman, and he's like, Freddie, You're one of the best hitters in the league. I'm saying it without an accent.
Right.
Except for after me. After me.
Right. I still have a conspiracy theory that I think has to be true. I think he speaks perfect English at this point. But doesn't
he
want to talk to the media.
He just doesn't want to.
Yeah, I don't blame him. He's just like, what?
You know, if you think about the distractions that pro athletes have to deal with, somewhere in the mix is media. Not for him.
Yeah, no.
If I watched Mexican soap operas for like 2 weeks, I would speak Spanish. I believe that. You're trying to tell me he's been here this long, and he's just like, what is this post-game interview? I don't speak any of this. I'm going to go to the locker room instead. I'll send this guy out here to talk to you.
You know, Rosetta Stone. You can learn to speak the language.
But I love it. That makes me, I love that grift, and it makes me respect him even more if he is doing that.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I used to hate this. You know, like if you're a hitter or you're one of the better hitters on your team, you find out that you're not getting no pitches. Next thing you know, you come up there, they throwing outside, they may give you a little something, so you a couple off-speed pitches, but you're not getting any primetime fastballs. They figure, okay, you get hit a fastball, you'll see everything but that. But I used to always be upset when 8-hole, 9-hole hitters, they're throwing 8 straight fastballs at these guys to see if they can even hit it. This squad reminds me of a team who has no names, except for Jose Ramirez. So those guys get up at bat, and there's a scouting report, and their scouting report just says they're not that good. So they're up there giving everybody pitches to hit, and they're getting timely hitting now because you're not pitching around nobody in this lineup except for Jose Ramirez. And so when you watch when the Guardians play, even against the Dodgers the other day, you just find that they're just getting, I'm like, wow, these guys are getting solid pitches to hit. And what they're doing is they're putting it in play.
They're doing what they're supposed to do.
They're not doing too much with it. You know, against the Dodgers, they get a sacrifice fly to get the run across. And there's a lot of times when you may have, big name players that are known for power or known for getting a 2-3 run home run. They don't have any of those guys. So those guys are up there maximizing their at-bats. They're getting the ball in play. And like Bull said, they're playing some bad teams, but I'm not going to crucify them for playing bad teams.
You got to play the schedule.
Got to play the schedule.
You know what? We're going to find out the next 13 days because they're all game. They have 3 with Minnesota. Then they come home for the biggest homestand of the season in terms of importance. It's 10 games. They get 3 with Boston. Then they get 4 with Minnesota. And they close that down with a weekend set leading into the 4th against the Yankees. All of those teams can play. They're all above 500.
They just played the Dodgers, who they took 2 out of 3.
That's right.
I will tell you that if they are able to get in first place during this series with Minnesota, because they got opportunity to overtake them, if they're in first place going into that schedule with Boston,
it gets real easy after that.
And guess what?
It's going to be
people.
You get 20, 25. Can we get 35?
You're going to get crowds.
And that
in
Yankee
there.
series is a weekend series.
And it's the 4th of July weekend. And it's the Yankees.
Should be crazy.
So it should be good crowds.
But he's right. It's sad how important it is how they do in this next 3 games.
That's
because
it.
We're sheep.
Oh, yeah.
We are sheep.
We are sheep. If they sweep the Twins and we've got a 2-game lead going into the big series with Boston, you'll see some serious numbers down there for this weekend.
Remember I told you the Arena Bowl football game where all of a sudden everybody's in there
We
and
just want to see a winner.
And Jay, I got to give credit to a guy you've been high on for a while, Andre Gimenez. He has been playing at an excellent level, both sides of the field. He's done. He's played really well.
I'm glad you mentioned him because a couple of things. It's baseball, so you know I'm going to bring numbers. I really, when we have a baseball topic, I do a lot of homework. So everybody said, well, the Lindor thing is going to kill the Indians, now Guardians. Look at those numbers, guys. Let those sink in. And not pictured there is OPS. Frankie's OPS is 738. Gimenez is 842. The biggest number there is the salary.
Yeah, it's significantly
Frankie's
different.
making $34 million. He's hitting 62 points less.
Yeah.
The power numbers are very equal. You expect Lindor to have a lot more RBI because that Mets offense is way more potent, so he's getting a lot more opportunity. But Gimenez is making $700,000. I use this as an example, guys, because this is what the Guardians do. They do more with less. To that point, right now, today, the Los Angeles Dodgers are 40-25. The Guardians are 34-28. So there's a difference in the standings of 4.5 games. I figured out how much per win the Dodgers are paying and how much per win the Guardians are paying. This is stunning. The Guardians' payroll is $67 million, third lowest in baseball. The Dodgers is $287 million, second highest. The Dodgers are paying
second highest?
Second highest. The Mets is higher.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, the Mets whipped nuts this past
That's true.
offseason.
Yeah.
The Dodgers are paying more than $7 million per victory. The Guardians, less than $2 million per victory.
Right.
So they're doing more with less. They can never compete with the spending race. I looked up the TV contracts. The Dodgers TV contracts, local TV contract.
Yeah.
$300 million.
Wow.
The Guardians
That's
is
insane.
$40 million.
I just pictured you last night doing all this math on the kitchen table and your wife being like,
But-
what are you doing
But
in there?
trust me, that's
Not that
exactly
it
what
wouldn't be
happened.
far off anyway. To be a little fair, the Dodgers did do their TV contract more recently than the Guardians.
If the
but it
Guardians
still would be
redid their
way off.
contract today, it wouldn't be much more than $40 million.
It would be
wouldn't.
more, but
it wouldn't be much more.
It wouldn't be anywhere close to what the Dodgers
$300
is.
million, guys.
Yeah.
insane.
Now listen,
It gives them opportunity.
Lindor is having a solid year. He's bounced back from last year, but he's not living up to that contract at all.
No.
I wonder if he'd stay here if he'd been done better. I think he would have.
I think the Indians knew by looking at some splits that he wasn't going to be the player in the future that he was in the past.
Maybe, certainly not over the long term.
And-
I still think Lindor's a really good player, but he's having a good year, not a great year. Last year he was lousy. I mean, he was flat out lousy.
Here's what I wonder about
Yeah.
Frankie, and I hate to even bring this up because I have no evidence other than stats and dates and what was going on.
That's literally called evidence.
Well, it's a smoking gun. Let me say that.
yeah, okay.
It's not going to lead me to my conclusion, but it made me ask this question, and I'm sure the Indians asked this question. Everyone was stealing signs from 15 to 2000. No, listen.
I'm just laughing.
It's a fact.
I'm just laughing.
I mean, when I asked, I did an interview with Dolan a couple of years ago, and I asked, do we have any evidence that the Indians were doing this systemically like they were in Houston and Boston and New York and the
Yeah.
other teams that just got caught doing it? And the answer was something, and I'm paraphrasing here, not that I'm aware of. Not that I do.
Safe.
It's safe, but I've had baseball people tell me, look, if you think your team wasn't doing it, you're naive. We saw the hitting numbers go way down after
Yeah.
the sign stealing scandals. Also, pitchers were using the tack to get the ball to rotate more, so there's that. But I don't know that I'm not saying that Frankie was stealing signs. I don't know that he was the benefactor of that, but there were a lot of guys that were doing it when people knew they were doing it, and their numbers haven't rebounded to that same level. I don't know.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
Final
I don't know.
thought, because I know we got to move on.
And by
but-
the way, the Indians would have known
Yeah.
if he was stealing
I
signs when they
still
were
think
thinking about his
he's a very
contract.
good player.
He is. He's a great
Right
player.
now, it looks like it was a good move not to sign him, but I don't want to encourage
That-
kudos for
Yeah.
Dolan for that
Don't
because
give them
I
a
want them to
parachute.
spend money.
Don't give them a
They
parachute.
might have been right in this case. Right
Well,
now, it looks like they were, but we don't want to discourage
Even
them
if
for
they
spending
were
money.
wrong,
Yeah.
even if they were, and if they had re-signed him, that's a crippling contract for a city like this. It just is.
I don't think it has to be, but
Their TV contract is
yeah.
$40 million. Frankie he's going to make $40 million a year by the time it's
Yeah.
done. You can't spend all of your money on one player in baseball and be
I think
competitive.
They could, but I think they could have a significantly higher payroll. But we'll
Look,
debate it another
I'll
another
give you
time.
that
Yeah.
spread out over 24 guys.
Yeah.
But I hope that this team never has a $30 or $40 million a year player because it will be the Tigers when they sign Miggy. That's what happened to Detroit.
The important thing, in summation,Ay says Frankie Lindor's a cheater. Let's move
Yes.
on.
No!
Yes,
So-
he did.
Listen,
Pretty
that's
much,
why I
yeah.
hesitated to bring it up.
So can we talk about a guy that actually
By the way,
does
Savali
want
coming
more
back
money?
tonight. We'll see how he does.
A guy
Yeah.
wants more money.
Yeah.
Than Kareem Hunt, right?
Yes.
Does he want money?
Oh, wait, before you do that,
Yeah.
before you move that, I need one graphic because you guys spent a lot of time building it. One more graphic, and this is the real answer as to what's going on with the Guardians. Well, I've told you early in the season that June 1st was the circle date.
Yeah.
It takes 2 months for Terry to figure things out.
This is pre-June, by the way.
So all of
Pre-June.
these numbers are pre-June for teams.
Instead of post-June, just a little
Instead of
mix up.
post-June. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
We
my
like
bad.
just keeping
that's
you on your
okay.
toes. Keeping you
so
on your
you
toes.
can see where
So
they were.
middling. They're
There are a
middling.
couple- they just are right around 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't put 20 up there because it was COVID, and they
Right.
didn't start the season until August.
Right.
And 21, he was gone the whole back half of the
Right,
season,
right,
so
right.
it doesn't matter. So you can see where he is pre-June 1st.
Yeah.
This year, they're actually that number for this year is wrong for 2022 because they're not.
This is pre-June record, Jay.
Pre-
Oh yeah,
This is
pre-June
pre.
1st. You're right.
Let's
You're
see.
right.
These are
you're right.
numbers you sent me.
Yeah, no, you're
I
right.
only messed
Nope.
up the pre and post.
You're
Don't
right.
worry.
Nope. Yeah. Okay. You're right.
Can we see the post?
So now
Let's
let's
see
look
the
at
post.
the post June 1st.
Yeah.
Look what he's done after June 1st, guys.
that's remarkable.
Amazing.
I mean, I don't know what it is other than the Tito factor. He figures out what he has.
Yeah.
He figures out who works best in which slot, and he's like a savant doing a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
That's a good stat.
They still need to. I don't think we can get over carried away with how well they've played lately. They still need additions.
They do, and they'll be buyers at the trade
One
deadline.
guy that may horrify Guardians fans to see, who I think the Guardians should be aggressive on, a rental player,
Yeah.
is Wilson Contreras from the Cubs.
Yeah.
What a difference he would make at catcher.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. I
know
just
they
saw
don't go-
they just called Naylor's brother up from AA to AAA.
Wilson
Josh
Contreras is one of the
Naylor's
best
brother.
catchers in baseball.
I know he is, but
Yeah.
I'd be stunned if they did that
I would be
because they've
stunned
got
too.
two good catchers in the pipeline.
But it's
Excuse me,
but he's a
Josh-
rental. It's 1 year.
I know, but they've
Go
got
for it.
guys under long-term control. Josh Naylor's brother was just called up from AA to AAA. I know it's AA. Bo.
Yeah.
His
No,
numbers,
it's Josh Naylor's brother.
His numbers in AA are insane. Average, power,
Yeah.
RBI. Not to say it's going to translate, but the fact that they called him up to AAA tells me that if he progresses like he has at AAA,
Yeah.
they won't make a move for a catcher. In August, they'll just call
We'll
him
see.
up.
They should.
They'll
But
just
all
call
right,
him up.
let's talk Kareem
All right,
Hunt here.
now we can
Yeah.
talk. And I'll let you can turn the page.
Now we got our slides together. I got my slides out. We ready to go.
The Browns, in my opinion, would be stupid to trade Kareem Hunt unless they get overwhelmed in a deal, which they won't. And they'd also be stupid to sign him to an extension, in my opinion, both.
All right, so we're making the pivot. You started it. It's so this all started from Kareem Hunt over the week on Friday, I think.
Yeah.
Said, or maybe it may have been Thursday, late last week. He said, "I want an extension." He's in the last year of his contract. I'd love to end my career here.
Yeah.
It got us to thinking he does have some trade value. His contract is very affordable. He makes $1.35 million in base this year, although his salary cap hit is $6 million because of his signing bonus.
Yeah.
He's making nothing. He's an asset. Do you trade him? Do you sign him long term? What do you do with him?
It's easy money. I signed Kareem Hunt to another extension. Here's the reality of the situation. Anybody that you have a value on our offensive side of the football that is a asset, while you don't know what the heck is happening with Deshaun Watson, you got to keep him, bro. Like, that's the reason they gave Njoku money. The most you can do is eliminate these question marks. Like, if you're looking at what they're going to run, they're running the football. You look at Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Matter of fact, people can argue Kareem Hunt is utilized the wrong way. He should be getting more touches. He'll be 27. It's not as if he's old. If you keep him here, you just signed Nick Chubb. If Nick Chubb gets hurt, guess what? You got a running back that can be a bell cow. And you got another running back in Dearness Johnson behind him that slides perfectly right into
And two young ones behind him.
And two young guys. So the running game is all about with the Cleveland Browns, especially if it's Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Why would you trade him if that is a position of
He's
strength?
a known commodity.
Gee, I love you, but you're out of your mind. First of all, I agree with you on the trading. I'm not trading.
I got you on this, G.
I'm
You're
not
right.
trading Kareem Hunt. Trading Kareem Hunt doesn't make any sense unless you got, again, if somebody blew you away with a
somebody
trade.
else
No, he doesn't want to trade him. He wants to extend
No,
him.
I know. So I agree with you on that. But signing to an extension makes no sense. You can't listen. The Browns are going to be dealing over the next couple of years with some salary cap issues.
Oh God!
They
Oh
are.
God! Oh God! Adam the Bull, come on, bro.
We're below the cap.
This
This
is
year.
This is the problem with
Yeah,
people.
go ahead.
These guys are financial savants. These dudes come from Wall Street. These dudes come from Ivy League schools. Every time somebody tells me about this looming cap penalty, it's been about to happen for the New Orleans Saints for the last 36 years.
And they've had to cut people.
No, what they're doing is extending people.
And they're not any good. They're not going to be any good this
But
year.
here's the thing. If you got a guy under asset, right? You want to find out, you want to really go out in the trading market and find you another running back when you got one.
No, but I'm
And
not saying do that, G.
Kareem Hunt is not going to put you in cap
I'm
purgatory.
saying let him play.
He's just saying give him this year and then,
Give him this
move
year.
on.
And then-
No, I
why
want
do
him
I
back for
need?
next year.
I already wasted money on Njoku, a guy who's unproven,
How's that wasted?
because he wasn't worth that money.
It doesn't matter what he's worth. It's a matter of do you have it and can you spend it?
Yeah, well, they
You only
have
have-
it,
you only have
sure.
so much to
But why
spread
would
around,
You
though.
only have a certain amount to spend.
Says who?
Well, the cap.
The salary
Well,
cap.
Here's what I'm
Gee,
saying.
I
to you.
get what you're saying. I get that
You
there's
can
cap
backload
gymnastics.
contracts. I know that Deshaun
get it.
Watson's getting a bushel of
I
potatoes
get
this
it,
year to
but
play.
the Saints are no longer paying a quarterback a ton of money. The Browns will be, and to commit. You're already spending a lot of money on Nick Chubb. It doesn't make financial sense to spend a lot of money on 2 running backs. Now, if you're going to tell me that Nick Chubb is going to that Kareem Hunt's going to sign an extension at a backup running back number, then maybe I would think about it. But I doubt he would do that.
Mike, what do you think?
I mean, I totally agree with Bull. I just don't see how they have the salary cap space next year. This year we're in good shape, but you got to start thinking about this. We're paying Ward, we're paying Myles Garrett, we're paying this offensive line.
Yeah,
we've got a lot of money.
And Watson's contract really starts next year.
Yes, it does. This year we're paying him $1 million next year. And I'm saying I would love to have him here if money were limitless. Of course, I'd sign him forever. But I know there are ways of working these contracts, but you can only do so much. And if it's not, if you have your chance, that is a position that we have a great wealth at right now. We're fortunate to, and it's nice to have a little flexibility.
I wish they would have done this with Njoku. They didn't. They had him under control.
Mm-hmm.
They could have paid him and kept him and made this year a prove-it year for him, because he's had 5 and we've seen what we've got.
Yeah,
not much. With Hunt, I think what they're going to do is they got him this year and they got him at a great number. They also have Ford, who they drafted out of Cincinnati, who they really like.
Yeah.
They have Dearness. They have Demetric Felton. So let's play this season out, and let's give these younger guys some in-game reps and see what we have.
Play half this season out, and then start talking about extending.
Yes, exactly.
See if anybody gets hurt. See if one of these guys shows up.
But I love having. I mean, there's no way I would trade him.
No,
the idea of trading him is ludicrous.
The only way I would even consider it is if I could get a star defensive tackle, which you would never be able to get.
Yeah, I don't think so, because we know what the running backs are worth in this league. They're devalued.
Exactly.
You keep them as. Look, guys get hurt at that position.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement with not trading him.
So you got to keep them. But I think this year you use one of the things that you go into this year trying to figure out is, what do we have at this position?
Mm-hmm.
We know they extended Johnson. They picked up a year for him. So he's under contract. And Felton showed real promise last year. And if Ford is the player they think he is when they drafted him, then maybe one of these 2 guys would be able to step up into that position, or 3 guys really, step up into the Hunt role.
None of
and
those
then
guys
they don't have
are Hunt.
to pay him long term.
None of those guys are Hunt. We get it. And ultimately, like if there was no salary cap or whatever, if you could guarantee me that extending Hunt won't cause you to have to cut another important player, then I would be all in on it. But I'm not convinced of that.
Well, here's the thing. I always say this. The cap is going up. It consistently.
That's true. It is actually going up a lot next year.
It consistently goes
New
up.
TV contract.
And I always, every time I pose this question to somebody, name me a team that wasn't able to play their quarterback, their receivers, and primetime ball players.
Seattle.
Okay, we talking about with Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
When they won the Super Bowl, he was on his rookie deal.
Okay.
They haven't been relevant since he's been on his max contract.
So here's the thing. When you take a look at it, the Browns are doing the same thing that they did. If you look at what they did, they went out and said, okay, well, one of the Legion of Boom, Cam Chancellor, he's not the same person he used to be. The Browns moved on from J.C. Treader, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They moved on.
But J.C. Treader is still a great player.
I wouldn't say great.
I would have spent the... Yes, he was. He was still an all-pro.
Where is he at?
Well, I didn't see any drop-off in his play.
No. Nobody signed him. That's fair.
He's nobody came and was beating his doors down.
Well, you think he's not going to play this coming year?
I don't know.
He will play.
When Alex Mack left here, he was like, "Oh, we need Alex Mack."
Yeah.
He's not a player like Alex Mack in my mind.
Well, let's see what we have with Wilson first.
But I will say this: he's not going to break the bank. Kareem Hunt is a guy, when he was healthy, over 1,100 total yards in the air, on the ground, and 11 touchdowns. He missed 9 games last year. That's a problem. If you tell me you don't think
he's a top
he's
3 back for 2 or 3 when he was in Kansas City. He was a difference
But I don't
maker.
think we don't need to debate how good he is. We all know how good he is. Is signing Hunt going to prevent you from signing Greg Newsome or some other good player over the next couple of years? That's what they have to do with the cap.
And I know you mentioned the cap's going up, but we've already seen 3 deals off the top of my head that reflect that. They're already building that math in.
That's true.
They wouldn't have paid Watson what they paid him. They probably wouldn't have paid Ward what they paid him. And they certainly wouldn't have paid Njoku what they paid him if they didn't know that cap relief was coming.
Plus Myles Garrett, they extended Wyatt Teller.
So, I mean, all that,
Antonio.
everybody keeps saying that, that number's going to move up.
It is,
it is. But the Browns have already baked that into the cake.
Right.
And I always say, these people have mathematic degrees. If they not worried about it, I sure as hell ain't worried about it. I ain't going over.
Well, nobody. That's fair. That's fair. Hey, listen. unlike the Njoku thing, I didn't get.
Right.
If they did extend Hunt, even though it doesn't seem to make sense to me, I wouldn't be as critical as I was of the Njoku because at least I
would
know
much
Hunt
rather-
is really good.
Yeah, I would much rather have seen them given
extend him.
an extension to Hunt
Yes,
than
exactly.
Njoku. We
He's
know what
proven
Hunt
it.
can do.
So if Berry signs him, I'm saying, well, okay, I guess he's not worried about the cap. The Njoku thing I didn't get because he hasn't been productive. Hunt obviously
But
has.
he's right too. He's right too that it'll be interesting to see what he would take as an offer. He wants to be here. He said he wants to retire here.
Yeah.
This is the team that gave him his second chance after he went through something pretty bad, and they stuck with him and stood behind him. His career gets extended because he's running alongside somebody amazing, so
And
he
he's
doesn't
home.
get beaten down at 30,
Yeah.
and he's at home. Are you willing to take that Jose Ramirez kind of deal?
Yeah.
If he is, then I'm more excited
Absolutely.
Yeah,
about it.
I
Yes.
would be too. But G. Bush, I know that you're dismissing the salary cap almost like, look, it's not a real thing. It is.
It's a real
the
thing.
way these mathematicians deal with it is they tell the general manager, I know you'd like to go get a Mercedes at linebacker, but you might need a Ford.
Well, here's the thing.
And that's how they deal with it.
But I
That's the
thought
cap magic.
Dearnest really played. He's not Kareem Hunt. I'm not trying to argue
he's
Kareem
a
Hunt,
Hyundai.
but he was very impressive last year.
I think what they do is they kick the can down the street. They say,
yes, that's probably the
we'll
way
figure
to
it
go.
out later.
Yes.
Yep, that's exactly what they're going to do.
Boy, it took
And
a long
makes
time
sense
to get to that
do
point. You're right, though. That's what's going to happen. No doubt. No doubt at all.
Yeah.
You could have said that to start.
Could have saved
and
us
it
a
would
lot
have
of
saved
time.
20 minutes.
But that's what the show was about.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You know what tomorrow is, guys?
What's that?
6 years to the day of the Cavs parade. 6 years. Today, it's
Hard to
funny.
believe.
The day out that we're having out there today is
Yeah.
similar to the day we had 6 years ago. It's just a beautiful day.
Yeah.
There's not a cloud in the sky out there. 6 years ago, and yesterday was the Warriors' 4th parade in 8 years. I got to tell you, that's still the fact that they've won 4 and 8.
I'll tell you
Pretty.
what.
As much as I dislike them, you got to give them.
No, it's a dynasty. It's dynastic now.
They didn't
And
get
especially Curry, I give him credit because he did it before Durant, did it with Durant, did it after
You know what's
Durant.
more impressive? I think they finished as the last team in the West 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Dead
Wow.
last record.
Now-
Steph Curry was out. Klay Thompson was out.
Right,
They had
I know it
the
was all
worst
injury-based.
record. Got James Wiseman
But
with the second pick in the
I'm gonna
lottery.
tell you what.
So when you consider that, what team has won 4 championships in an 8-year stretch, and one of the 4 where they didn't win, they lost a Game 7 to the Cavs. We really spoiled their dynasty
I
talk.
love it.
And another one of those years, they finished dead last.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're still in their craw for that, and I love that.
We'll always
And I
be in their
also-
craw for that.
I also think that it makes one. Here's my positive spin on that on the Warriors championship.
Yeah.
I think it makes our 2016
Yep.
title all the more
Makes it
impressive.
better.
That's a
No
team
doubt.
that somehow 5 years later, that's how good that team was. They won a championship. I mean,
Yep.
some of them, and we beat that team.
I'm
That's-
going to tell you all this,
remarkable
man.
still.
I was watching a parade and it hit me right in my face. Not only am I willing to take LeBron back, I might take Kyrie back.
I don't need Kyrie. Let's
Hey,
hold
listen,
on.
Kyrie
This
might
is-
be going
this
to
is-
LA
This is my face.
to play with
He's going
LeBron
to the
again.
Knicks.
I am dead serious. I would take both of them
I
back.
can't take Kyrie.
Oh, I sure can.
I'll take LeBron 100%.
Because here's the thing. I watched them run that back, and I said, man,
You miss it.
I miss it, and there is nothing like bona fide superstars. But it don't even matter. What you saying with Curry and them, it don't even matter if they was down at the
Right.
bottom of the
But
barrel.
Kyrie
They're
can't
that
stay
good.
healthy anyway.
Listen, if
He
you
and Durant didn't do squat in the playoffs.
if Kyrie Irving is playing alongside Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, the Cavs are going to the Eastern Conference Finals, minimum.
Yeah, but I think that minimum, even without Kyrie, with the current team and LeBron, they could go to the Eastern Conference Final. Yeah,
I'll
definitely
take
would.
LeBron back too.
LeBron 100%.
But
6 months ago, I said I don't want LeBron on this team.
Man,
it was one of the dumbest statements I've ever made.
because you see what Tatum, you see what these dudes are capable of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's stupid to think we're gonna wait to hope that Colin Sexton is one of
Yeah,
these
yeah,
guys. No.
With
By the
Kyrie,
way, guys,
though, go ahead.
I got to go back to this day, right? Because and I didn't grow up a Cavs fan, and I didn't really have a favorite basketball team. So I adopted the Cavs when I moved here, and I was into it.
Right.
But I didn't grow up with 50 years
It was
of
still
rooting for the
exciting
team.
to be here.
But I got to tell you, every time I think about that day, I almost get tears in my eyes. It was so. I'll never forget. I went up to the top of the office building, of the county office building, on the corner of East 9th and Prospect. You know that building? It's like a newer building, last couple of years. And I was able to get up on the roof of that
wow.
building. And I remember looking
So you had a
both
good
ways.
view, yeah.
Oh, both ways on East 9th. Right before the parade started, when people were still in the streets. And there was just this sea of humanity going down to the lake and going to the highway the other way as far as I could see. And you didn't see an empty space. You couldn't see the ground at all in the street because of the sea of humanity. Everybody was loving each other. It didn't matter what your background was, what your political affiliation was. We all loved each other that day. It was crazy. And when we had Channing Frye the other day, he talked about the parade took forever because you had to get the people off the streets onto the sidewalk. It was just so crowded.
To advance it 10 feet.
Right, and Cleveland, for a big city is not a big city, if you know what I mean. And so it wasn't meant for that many people being downtown, and it was just bedlam, but the best kind of bedlam ever.
Man,
Were you downtown that day?
No, I was not. I had to work.
Oh,
man. It's terrible. I will say this, though. I cried when it happened, when they won. And then I got in my car and drove downtown, like after the game was over.
Yeah, I was down
And
here.
I was out there just doing donuts in this parking lot, just screaming, doing slightly almost illegal
At
things.
midnight, the traffic was gridlock.
It was
nuts.
gridlock.
The red lights were turning green, but
Yeah.
nobody
Nobody
could
was
move
moving.
because the streets were packed
And we
with
was
cars
downtown.
and people.
People was looking for places to go, but you just didn't know where to go, and it was just crazy. And I remember remembering like, dang, these dudes, we actually won. Because I'm gonna tell you what, Jay, you said you thought with everything going on that you knew they were gonna win.
I did.
To me, I did not know that they were gonna win until like even the last second. Even it was one of the better games. It's one of the best games in the history of the NBA.
It was a good game 7.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole time, my heart was in my chest.
block?
The block.
I thought the block was the moment where
I
they're
did
gonna
too.
win.
I
That was the
did too.
moment.
I did. That's where I'm
That
like,
was
it's supposed to happen.
Seeing that replay recently again for the first
And
time. in a
how
while,
much distance he covered
Oh
to
my
close
God,
the
that was
shot.
crazy.
Even
Yep.
Kevin
He was
Love
possessed.
playing defense on Steph Curry ISO.
Kevin loved playing defense.
Yeah.
That's how intense that
ISO.
game was.
Mike, were you downtown for it?
I was downtown
parade?
for the parade. I was
Yeah.
down there. I was working for Fox 8 at the time, and I was dressed as Timothy Mozgov. I was wearing drywall stilts. You know what I'm talking about? Those legs that those things.
Is there
you wear to go-
photographic evidence?
There
of
it
this?
is. I did it. I was doing
my
it for a
God.
bit, but it was immediately too packed, and I was just like toppling over and stuff, and it wasn't worth the gag. So then I had to take them off, and now I'm just carrying them because they were like $100. So I'm carrying drywall stilts with me around while dressed as just the top half of Mozgov.
Oh my God.
And I got swarmed. I mean, I was down there for a little bit. It was too packed. I went down to Becky's bar and finished it down there while dressed as Mozgov and with some friends, and that was hard. But I was in it. But more important for me was the night of, which was June 19th.
Yeah.
And it was
Father's Day.
Father's Day, my dad's birthday. And so it was like a big already like so that's a very easy day to remember. And I remember being down there, and I was a Cavs fan my whole life. I was at Richfield. I was at the shot. I was actually at that game as a child.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
wow.
So
Gosh.
for me, this was a big deal. You know, and I know a lot of people are like, won't be a championship until it's the Browns.
Well, you're
or
a
the
bigger
Indians
Cavs
or
fan
Giants."
than anything,
I'm a
aren't
big
you?
Cavs fan. I know I'm still a bigger Browns fan,
Are you?
but I know the Cavs more. I like the Cavs more. I have more of a history with them. You know, I like basketball and stuff. But so this was a huge deal to me when it actually happened. And I remembered the vibe downtown the night that we won, and it was that where you're talking about people coming together from different walks of life.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the scene in Major League when they actually win and they show that bar and it's construction workers hugging like 80s Mohawk punks, and then they look at each other like, we're different, we shouldn't get along, and they're like, well, whatever, it's, we won.
Yeah.
But it was a legitimate
was
vibe
real.
like that. And one of my favorite things that I saw was it was like a no holds barred. Nobody was policing anything that night. There were plenty of cops down there, but people are just drinking like it's New Orleans outside downtown. And everybody's kind of looking around like, are we going to get in trouble for this? You know, but nobody cared. But my favorite thing that I saw was there was a fire truck down there by the Hairy Buffalo in case something happened, I guess, or something, because they were expecting crowds. So, downtown swarmed, and I look up and there are like two like incredibly over-the-top gay dudes on the fire truck with like drinks, just going, "Oh yeah, Cavaliers, we did it, we did it, Cavaliers." And
That's awesome.
and there's two cops who are on horses. They're the horse cops, and I see one of them. They just look up and they're like, "Hey, yeah, go ahead," and they just let him go.
Yeah.
That night, even the cops were just like, "Just have fun in the fire truck, be safe." The Cavs won, But that was the vibe downtown. Just like everybody was on the same team.
You're right about everybody getting along, everybody hugging, high-fiving. There were no political lines. There were no race lines. cops were hugging people.
Yeah.
You never see that.
I saw a cop with a beer.
But
That was the best.
That is the best. But I think, honestly, the thing that really stands out for me, how proud I was of our city. Because it had been over 50 years. We expected that they were going to burn the city down.
Yeah, no, nothing.
And we didn't. And I've always wondered, like, when Detroit won in '84, they burned the city down. And I'm just like, gosh.
Weird way to say thanks.
That's shit you do when you're mad.
Yeah.
Like, when you're happy, you don't burn things down. And I was super glad that we didn't burn things down, because if anybody had a reason to like go over the top with the celebration, I didn't see anybody hanging from streetlights 20 feet high. You see that in Philly. I saw a guy, climb a streetlight, was 20 feet above the street, hanging there perilously. I didn't see anything that really was super dangerous.
I always look at it like this: that the Warriors today should have been the Cavs. You think go from 2016, 2017, you go back to the finals, and then after that year, Kyrie's gone. Mm-hmm. And the Cavs, there's no way they could have planned for being like, hey, Kyrie's going to want to get traded.
Right.
And you look what happened to the Warriors, their trajectory, they came down a little bit, went back up, they got 4 out of 8. But you can't tell me, and Kyrie spoke to it a couple of weeks ago.
I know, it's so annoying hearing it.
You can't tell me that the Cavs don't at least got 3 championships if LeBron, the way he's still playing with Kyrie, is
to be
crazy.
at the whims of Kyrie Irving's brain and philosophy, where he said it since then in that interview. He's like, yeah, maybe I was a little out of line then. It would have been cool to stick around.
He drops it
to
so
us, that would have
casually.
meant everything in the world.
Yeah.
But to him, he's at that time, he's just like, maybe I'm not appreciated and I want to go somewhere else. And now later on, he's just like, you know what, that wasn't so bad. Maybe. And I'm like, you son of, all you got to do is stay sane for a few more years.
You know what's really going to be hard to watch is if they team up again in LA, because I think that's coming.
They'll fall apart.
I think it's coming.
Between injuries or
Even
another
if-
COVID strain
Mike,
that he won't get
even if they don't
inoculated
win
against, they'll fall apart.
It really stinks because Kyrie now is saying, yeah, I can play with LeBron again. Like, what was
He's
wrong
saying that
with what
now,
was going
but
on
I don't
here?
know if I totally buy that.
Yeah.
I think he's just talking.
Well, so he had a real I think it was yesterday, a real cryptic tweet where
What?
Yeah, I know. Imagine Kyrie doing that. But the talk is that the Nets were he's not interested in the Nets extension.
Right.
And so now he's got 1 year left on his current deal. Yeah. So there's talk of just trading him. Mm-hmm. And the 3 teams that are really coming up, the Knicks, which have no chance.
Right.
First of all, they'd have to dump half their team to be able to fit him in.
Right.
And why would he want to go to the Knicks?
Right.
But the Clippers and the Lakers are very interested. Yeah. And when I saw the Lakers, I thought, uh-oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Jay, speaking of happenings this weekend, Mike, our producer, Mikey McNuggets, went on a road trip. He went on a road trip, and apparently he had some. What happened?
Were you alone or with a lady friend, or what are you doing?
No, I went on a road trip to Tennessee to see some old friends from when I worked down in
Who just
Bristol.
drives to Tennessee for the weekend from Cleveland? That's
I did.
weird. To
Wait,
me.
did you work in Tennessee?
I did for 3 years.
At
WCYB.
Channel 5 there?
Channel 5, yeah. We
Wow.
talked about this, Jay. You knew this.
You know what? I guess it's escaped my memory somehow.
So that inspired today's Ultimate 5, which is always sponsored by Roundstone Insurance. Roundstone
There we go.
offers a better alternative
TV
for
there?
affordable quality health
That's
care.
so funny.
For more than a decade,
That's so
Roundstone
funny.
Insurance has been
I
saving
did not
small and
know it was
mid-sized
there.
businesses money, an average of 20%. Contact us today to learn how you can get great health care benefits that your employees will love and save money, too. So before we get to this
Mike,
top
real
5,
quick, real quick. We love
Roundstone.
Roundstone.
We love Roundstone.
We were kind of talking
Yes.
over your read there.
Yeah.
Before the show today, G.
This was
We've been
insane.
doing the show.
oh
here
yeah,
for
this
6
is
weeks.
this is great. We have
G.
to tell
Bush
you.
walks into the studio, stares at the wall, perplexed, and says,
Have we?
What? We always had them TVs.
How
Where these
did you not
TVs
know
come
that?
from? They're like, dog, you serious?
You stroking
"You
out?
point to it every day."
Every day you point to it on the Roundstone.
I say,
Wow.
I don't remember. Maybe it was the lighting. Maybe it was just like I just don't remember seeing a
remarkable.
blank back there.
They've been
like,
there
right
It's right
there.
there.
Like
I see it.
I do this every
It's
single day.
Roundstone.
Hold on, I do that every single day, and it's like, hold on.
What do you think you were pointing at?
I don't know. Maybe I thought it was
Interesting.
blue screen. Hey, listen, hey, that concussion settlement, we might not play.
You're probably.
All right, what's your top 5?
So, a little schedule update first. Aditi is on her way to a undisclosed location. She'll tell us where she is later.
Going to
So,
a bat cave?
we're going to finish Ultimate 5, take a
Okay.
break, do Judge Jay. We'll get Aditi on later in the show.
Okay, great.
So, after Ultimate 5, Jay, we're going to do a little wardrobe change. So,
Okay,
that's the
I'm ready.
schedule for you guys. The list today is my 5 least favorite states in America.
Brought on by something that happened.
Brought on by something that happened to one of the states on this
That
list.
just means he drove through West Virginia to get somewhere. Right? Is that what you're
that is very accurate,
There it
Polk.
is.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Wow. Right.
Yeah.
Polk knows. That's how you know it's bad. But we'll get to West Virginia in a second. We start with number 5, which is Delaware. No explanation needed.
What's the
Delaware's
problem with Delaware?
It's just Delaware.
It's just there.
No one goes there. There's no
The list
tourism.
already sucks. Delaware's a solid state.
What do
There's a
they
lot
have
of
in
bad
Delaware?
states. I don't know why
What
you
do they got?
What do
Why
they
is
got?
Delaware a
They have like an
solid
outdoor
state? Have you ever
mall
been
or
there?
something? I have no
It's
idea.
just a nothing state.
Because
It's
it's
That's
why
why
it's on
my
there.
least
neutral.
favorite. Yeah.
It's a neutral. It
Which
shouldn't
is
be.
why it's
but there's
on there.
bad states
It's
that
like
do horrible
yeah,
things.
Delaware.
Develop a personality, Delaware.
Come on.
Right. Be about something.
They
Yeah,
only
what
got-
are
Delaware, exactly. Delaware tries to be New Jersey. It's not.
No,
So
they don't.
How many
Yes, it does.
electoral
New Jersey
college
tries
votes
to
do
be
they got?
New
Like
York.
Who tries to be
Yeah.
New Jersey?
everybody.
two electoral college votes for Delaware. We ain't paying no attention to that.
Yeah. What else you got?
Not good. Number 4, Kansas. I've driven through it twice. There's nothing
That's
in
enough.
it. No reason to stop. Kansas,
Yeah.
Look at
once
those.
again, just exists
Once
for
will
the
do ya.
state of existence.
It's like the
We don't need
bullseye of
Kansas.
America, though, isn't it? Like the geographic
We don't need
middle of our
Kansas.
country.
That
pretty
is a
much?
I'm with
random
you on
rectangle.
Kansas.
I'm with that. We don't
Kansas
need-
brings not much to the table.
No, that's
By the way,
But Delaware does. Bull takes offense
who
to Delaware,
knows?
but now it's okay.
who
with
Knows the
Kansas.
capital? I know every 250 capital.
Wow.
It's
Omaha.
got capital, yeah, Omaha.
Oh no, Omaha's
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
No.
you guys.
No,
Wait,
Nebraska is Omaha.
It's Topeka.
It's Topeka, Kansas.
I know all the
right?
capitals too.
Yeah, look, see.
Look
man,
at-
I used to know all of them.
Look-
It's a quiz show.
Look
one
at this
day.
weird brag we all have going on here.
No,
We can name
and,
the
I,
capitals.
and we didn't get. We
I
didn't
mean,
get
at least I knew
Kansas
there were
right.
TVs in here.
Right, hey, look, you're right.
Hold up, G. Bush did take his glasses off for Friday's show,
Yeah.
so maybe
Yeah.
He got
that's what
confused.
distorted his
Lincoln,
vision
just so
when
you
he
guys
walked
know.
back in.
All right, Kansas is just kind of blah.
Just kind of there.
Yeah.
Kind of like number 3,
we-
Mississippi. I have a couple beefs with Mississippi. It's Mississippi State's home. The Cowbells are the most obnoxious college football tradition in the country. And Mississippi, once again, just wants to be the rest of the SEC, except it's not.
Isn't it like a top 5 racist state too?
Yes.
That's got to be top 5 racist.
Lowest education level. It's terrible
Is there
education.
a ranking on the top 5
yeah.
racist?
It's like the fattest, most racist.
If you
God,
like,
if
yeah.
you're 49th on 4 categories,
It's bad.
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely not.
They got a heavy clan factor there.
if your cops got them Yogi the Bear hats, the
Yeah,
Ranger
get
hats,
out.
Yogi the
You're out.
Bear.
You're,
Get out.
the Ranger, like if you just got sheriffs, I don't trust no sheriff.
Right.
Ohio has sheriffs.
I don't like that. No, because I feel they got martial law or something. Like they could just be like,
Yeah.
they pull you over. Where's your papers at?
Well, yeah.
Papers.
Where
What
your
is
papers
Or
at?
it's scary. What
What
if
you
they're what if
mean,
Where
they're
your papers at?
Where your
it's
papers
scary
at?
if they're friendly and they're like, y'all lost?
Yeah,
That's
a-
scarier.
That's
Yeah.
a
That's
bad
scarier.
start.
Yeah.
Mississippi, not great.
Number 2.
Polk alluded to this, and I really have a lot of beef with West Virginia
Almost
right now. So I
had-
drove.
Wow, I thought you were like.
No,
okay.
it's not
West
number 1. Number
Virginia.
1 is undisputed. We'll get to that in a sec. But I drove to Tennessee this week. I drove through West Virginia, the complete state, both ways. They have 3 separate tolls, 23 miles apart,
Yeah.
for $4.25 each. I paid to go to Tennessee each way, 4 plus 4 plus 4, $16.75 each way to get to Tennessee.
but
no,
New Jersey costs a
$12.75. Sorry,
fortune
my
on
math was
toll.
wrong.
$12.75.
They should pay me $12.75 to drive through damn West Virginia.
You could have gone on Ohio route. You didn't have
Through
to go
Cincinnati and then cut through. It's way longer. The other thing with the tolls, I have Easy Pass. In West Virginia,
hear that,
it's a 2-lane
ladies?
highway. Yeah,
He has Easy Pass.
Added to my
That's
my
another
dating
brag.
profile.
Is that on your dating profile?
Yeah,
visit
now it
West
is.
Virginia?
But in every other state, in New Jersey, New York, the other states with Easy Pass, there's always a designated Easy Pass lane.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
West
has
Virginia,
to be.
you can't use the Easy Pass until you get all the way up to the toll booth, and then all of a sudden, the last 30 feet, it splits off. So there's no benefit to having Easy Pass in West Virginia.
Wow.
That
It's
is
a
stupid.
backwards state. It's a terrible state. West Virginia
Joke's on
my
you.
crap list.
Okay.
Very offended by West Virginia.
Now, should we guess what your number 1 is?
Yeah, well-
if it's not Michigan,
It's not Michigan, no.
Alabama.
Nope. I have a real personal beef with this state, too, so.
Hey man, listen, they keep
Texas.
They keep playing
No, I
around.
love
Texas
Texas.
about to be on
Texas
that list.
forever.
Get
I
yourself
mean,
together.
Florida's undisputed the absolute worst state in the
No.
union.
Nope.
Well, it's
Worst
okay.
state.
I'll tell you why. Number 1's Connecticut. No offense, Jay.
Oh no! Listen, hey,
I
no,
have
you're
never.
onto something here.
It's the worst. So
I'll
I went
tell
to
you
school
why
in
in a
Boston,
second.
as we've talked about. No matter what time you leave to drive from New Jersey to Boston, I've taken the midnight bus.
Yep.
I've driven during rush hour. I've driven in the morning. You cannot get through Connecticut,
These are
which is
such
only
And you're
specific-
taking
an hour,
95, right?
an hour state. in less than 2 hours.
Yeah,
it
it's
is
horrible.
miserable, and everyone from Connecticut either wants to be from Boston or New York. They think they're preppy. They think they're cool.
Yep.
The reality is they suck, and outside of ESPN being there, there's not a single positive, likable quality
Good
right
Lord,
about the
something
state of
bad
Connecticut.
happened to you in Connecticut
No,
one time.
listen, it is a
lot has
horrible
happened bad to
state.
me.
Just the cost of living alone, the
Yeah, it's
property
very
tax there.
expensive, yeah.
I think it's either first or second highest in the country.
Yeah.
But for you get what? You're not a bedroom community to Boston or New York, but they think they are. Everybody there loves to tell you, oh, yeah, we're an hour and a half from Boston and an hour and a half from New York. No, you're not, because there's traffic to both places, and most of it is in your state.
Yeah.
Connecticut's horrible.
I think
I
Mike's
couldn't
list-
wait to get out of
I think
Connecticut.
I have
Mike's
been
list
wanting
is
to make
terrible.
that rant. My first final take was going to be how much Connecticut sucked. So I'm glad I got to make my first final
But
take on
I don't
Ultimate
understand.
Five
How do you
list.
complain
All right.
about Connecticut traffic when New York traffic is awful, Boston traffic is awful?
But you expect it there. It's a large
Exactly.
metropolitan area.
And it's the price you pay for
Connecticut
being around
is just
something interesting.
95 and 84 are the two main roads that go through, or highways that go through Connecticut. It's backed up for no reason.
New Jersey is terrible traffic.
Yeah, if you're going down the shore, it's horrible.
For me, I gotta go with it. Hey, McNuggets, you from Texas. Once a mighty proud state, the Union of Texas used to be. Your electrical grid is trash.
They want to succeed from the union.
Yeah.
Hopefully
They
will.
think
I
they're
think
their
they think
own
they already
country.
have.
And pretty soon they're gonna let y'all walk down the street with grenades in your hand. Like, I don't know.
I think you can do that now.
Yeah.
I would love to see Texas succeed from the country.
Be careful. Their economy is bigger than just.
Yeah,
it's the biggest economy, but it's. We would have to pay imports on oil, because I read a piece on that. Like, should Texas secede, and what would it mean?
I'm all right with that.
And it's a big driver of our national economy,
Right.
not just for the money they make, but also for the oil
well,
that they
let's
sell.
let them succeed, and then we'll just
Take them over.
invade them and
and
steal their
and
resources.
you'll be in the United States again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Manifest
careful.
destiny.
Because a lot of people said, yeah, it'd be good if California did too. Well, no, you don't want California's economy, if it was its own country, would be
Those
like
are-
the 8th biggest in the world.
Aren't those just really the two great equalizers? One of them is.
Hey, I hate to cut you off, but we
cancel
have
each other off.
legitimate breaking news
Breaking
here on
news.
the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
This better be real.
This
this
really
about
is.
another
This
New
is from
England state?
Sarah Barshop, the ESPN NFL Nation reporter covering the Rams. She just tweeted out, quote, in a statement, Tony Busby says, quote, all but 4 of the lawsuits filed against Deshaun Watson have been settled.
Uh-oh.
Quote, we are working through the paperwork related to those settlements, according to Busby. Quote again, once we have done so, those particular cases will be dismissed.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
Okay,
all
so-
but 4.
All but 4. So I believe 24 have been officially filed, 25 and
How
26.
does nobody else have this yet?
And how?
I would tell you that I trust. I know that name, and I'm pretty sure that a reporter of that caliber is not going to put that out unless she got it right from Tony.
No. I'm just.
So
I'm
She has 16,000 Twitter followers.
No, she's legit.
and is
No,
verified
I
by
wasn't
ESPN, yeah.
criticizing
Oh, you're
her.
just wondering why
I'm just
nobody
wondering
else.
why
Well,
others are not.
it just
So
saying
you're
happened,
saying
right?
women
You
don't
just
know
saw
anything
this?
about
No.
sports?
Yeah,
It
it just
wasn't-
came out,
It wasn't a knock of
6
her.
minutes
It's just
ago.
like, why am I not seeing it from others?
Okay,
now?
well, let's quickly digest that.
So read
news.
that. Read that again.
Let's
Read that-
speculate
All
recklessly.
but 4.
So all before.
Do you want me to read that one more time?
Yeah.
We're getting tag board next month. We'll be able to pull this up
I
live
got a
on
statement
Tag
from
Board, so-
Busby. You want me to read it?
Do you have it? Yeah.
The cases against Deshaun Watson started with one phone call from one brave and strong woman. The woman was Ashley Solis. At the time of that call, she was just one of hundreds of calls seeking legal assistance that our firm gets weekly. Even though she was originally turned away by our screening process, my staff insisted that I personally speak with her. I'm glad she persisted. Once we took a second look, and after having contact with Watson's original lawyer, who disrespected Ashley and her profession, and who arrogantly minimized the conduct of someone he referred to as an asset, I was convinced that our law firm should try to help her. As a result of Ashley's lone but brave voice, so many women who have allegedly experienced the same conduct were emboldened to step forward. I am incredibly proud to represent them all.
Yeah.
They have endured vile criticism and fanatical ignorance. They faced withering cross-examination by skilled litigators and stood firm. They are all. You want me to keep reading this or no?
Yeah,
Is it
do
too
it.
much?
Yeah, keep going. You're getting to the good stuff.
They are warriors all. Today we have an important announcement about these cases, but it is important to point out that without Ashley Solis, the conduct experienced by these women would likely have continued unfettered. The truth is, without her courage and willingness to come forward, the NFL wouldn't currently be contemplating discipline. There would be no examination of how teams might knowingly or unknowingly enable certain behavior. Sports teams wouldn't be reviewing their personal screening processes, and this is important, they wouldn't have dominated the sports headlines for more than a year. Today I announced that all cases against Deshaun Watson, with the exception of 4, have settled. We are working through the paperwork related to those settlements. Once we have done so, those particular cases will be dismissed. The terms and amounts of the settlements are confidential. We won't comment further on the settlements or those cases. As stated, Ashley Solis is one of the heroes of the story. Her case has not settled, and thus her story and that of the other 3 brave women will continue. I look forward to trying these cases in due course, consistent with other docket obligations and the court schedule.
So the big question from that would be, how does this change? And I think the obvious answer is it doesn't, because there's still
the 4 cases.
There's still 4 cases.
And Ashley Solis, of course, is the one that we saw on
She was the first
HBO.
woman that spoke in the HBO piece.
Right.
Reckless.
And I thought the more believable of the 2, or at least the one that seemed to have, she was more impacted by what happened to her.
So when he says they've been settled but dismissed, I'm trying to figure out what you mean.
So when you settle a case, no,
they're not taking those to court.
They're done.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
over.
There's only 4 cases now that could possibly go to court.
Okay.
Yes.
Doesn't
And
mean they couldn't eventually be
so
settled too.
I think, and one of the things that we discussed, I think about 2 weeks ago, was if there was even one case that was going to go forward, that the league was still they could be in a holding pattern.
Right.
Because I know I read so much this weekend, and a lot of it was even tagged as rumors. People are now, that's where we are. They're putting rumors out there. There's no factual back to any of this. One of them was a report that Watson was going to get suspended for 60 games.
Yeah, that's great.
Like, so stop with the
I think I
rumors.
put that up, just so you guys know.
Stop
Threw
with
it out
that,
there.
okay? But one of the things I read was the league is very hesitant to do any kind of punishment as long as there's even one case that hasn't gone to court. And there's 24. So the number, if you buy this report, well, it's not a report. Busby says in his statement.
Right.
So 24 of them have been dismissed. He writes that specifically in the statement. That means there's still all but 4. I'm sorry,
Right,
22
so
of them. 22 of them.
I think it's only
20.
20.
Jay, only 24 have been officially filed.
Right.
So 20 of
but
the 24
there
have been
was
settled.
2 that were going to come forward.
So 2 more
But as
could
of
be
this
coming. But
moment-
as of right now, just to make
Right.
sure everyone's on the same
Yeah.
page,
So if-
20 have been settled.
Right.
20 have
24
been settled, 4 not settled, and 2 might still be.
And see, the
brought
reason
in.
I don't think that changes much, if anything at all, is because if the league was still going to wait to give any punishment until this is all done through the court system, you still have to wait. It's going to take just
Right.
as long, perhaps longer, to do 4,
Right.
and we don't know when that's going to be.
Right. And it's still possible that those 4 might settle. Maybe
I wonder-
they're looking for more of those 4 because maybe
That's
they
what
have
this
stronger
is.
cases. I don't know.
This is still the same campaign from Tony Busby that he's
Yeah.
been running the whole time, where he's letting things out when he wants them to be let out,
Yep.
keeping it in the news, keeping it in the headlines, because of course that's the first question now is what about these other 4? This is another probably strong-arm tactic to say to Deshaun, and his people, now this is where you're at. All you got to do is wrap up
Yeah,
these last
it's
4
leverage
now,
for
these
Busby.
last 6. So why don't we make this happen? Wouldn't it be nice if this all went away? I mean, you're right though. This changes nothing. We got to remember Ben Roethlisberger was suspended for 2 incidents, pretty much. So it's not like all of a sudden the NFL is going to be like, oh, there's only 6 now. All right, we'll give you a game or something like that. So it's still, we don't know enough, obviously, but it's still just Tony Busby releasing what he wants to release, when he wants to release it, and keeping himself in the news.
Yeah, and it does. It keeps it in the news cycle. I think the big thing is it moves the ball forward. Like if that finish line was, if all of these cases were settled, I wonder if the league, in talking with the Browns or in talking with Harden, didn't actually say, when these are settled, we can move forward.
And I told we talked about it last week. I said it, when they were talking about the league, and the second the Houston Texans were inserted as possibilities to be added to the lawsuit, I think the NFL, the Browns, the Texans, Deshaun Watson's lawyer, as well as Busby said, "Look, man, hey, I know you wanna clear some stuff up, but we too far down the street now. This the last thing we need. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you what you're going to. I believe right now the Cleveland Browns know exactly how many games he's getting suspended. And Deshaun Watson and his lawyer they negotiated the time. They say, okay, this is what we're going to get. Now let's get to the other stuff so we can dismiss these or move along. Because what was going to happen is the longer, and the NFL did themselves a disservice here. y'all could have just basically gave him what he was going to get and kept it pushing, right? And then you decide on what you want to do later. But the longer you let this carry out, you gave the leverage to Busby. He's saying, well, okay, well, I could just string this along for eternity. And what happened is when you string things out, that's human nature. Everybody, to a human, certainty is the only thing we know. That's why people don't like dying. They're like, well, I don't know what's next. I need to know. I go from first grade to second grade to third grade. We don't want no uneasiness in terms of what happens in life. So people were getting out of hand. So this one right here, I think the league says, look, you already know what you're going to get to dismissing these, and we'll settle it and keep it pushing. I think
the biggest thing perhaps from the statement itself was there are NDAs that are in force now.
Yep.
Because he said we cannot comment. Now, one of the sticking points, and Busby had said when he did the interview on 92.3, was that one of the sticking points early on was they did not want to sign NDAs. And whatever the number was, now whether that ratcheted the total number up in the 20 settlements, I don't know. We'll never know.
Right.
We won't know if he spent $1 million in total to make all of these 20 go away.
I'll bet we find out at some point somehow.
Well, we typically get like breadcreams.
Yeah.
Where
you
someone will say, well, I can tell you this much, it's seven figures.
You're telling me one of those women isn't going to leak to a girlfriend or a boyfriend? I mean,
it usually happens that way when there's one person. Now there's 20.
Now there's that many of them. Just
so
numbers.
Even if it's Busby,
we're going to find out.
Busby wants it out there too, so Busby can say, I did my job,
right.
And if you're in the pipeline to look for a civil attorney, I'm your guy.
And let me ask you guys this. What's your quick opinion on this? Do we think these other four are going to actually go to court?
No.
Or do we think these four maybe have the strongest cases, so they're getting a heavier settlement?
I think that right there is probably true.
They have the strongest cases. To me, I think this is what the rest of them got between 20 and 50. Reckless speculation. They got a little something.
Yeah, that is reckless.
That's reckless as hell.
I can't
but
here's
that
what
number
I'm saying.
down in the font.
Right. Right.
Listen, if it's $50,000
Bush
each, that's a $1 million check.
Right. So, but these four right here, they're like, oh no, we're gonna hold you aside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Y'all, you the star recruits, you the star witnesses.
I think they have
to be hired.
Well, we know too that there were some of the women, and that's why we said earlier last week. We said some of these aren't going to go to trial because we know that a lot of the evidence is pretty damning towards the women.
Yes.
Pictures that were sent, texts that were sent back and forth, multiple visits after they claimed the first infraction took place. Like, why would you go back to somebody that
but
did
that's
you?
Just some of them, right?
Some of them.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps it's a calculated risk by Busby saying, this case isn't strong. This case I could lose on this. I could lose this case on that. Let's get a number together to make it look like we're moving this football down the field here. 20. Here's our number for the 20. Now, these four. You've got nothing on these four.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, discovery is June 30th. Mm-hmm. So that's a big date that we need to keep in mind. June 30th is when the court has issued as the deadline for discovery. That's when Harden will know exactly what evidence Busby has and vice versa.
And
maybe it behooves everybody to settle before that date.
I still wouldn't be surprised if they settled these last four even this week at some point.
Yeah, I don't think these, because here's what he wants to do. He wants to signal to anybody else out there. Now that the NDA is out there, he can't really say I've got a $5 million settlement for these people. All he can say is I won that. I got money for that. Yeah. Now I got four more. If all sides are here. The thing that you want to tell the women or the accusers is, I mean, do you really want to wait this out a whole nother year? Because now you see everybody else done got their money.
Well, I think about
you gonna let this play out?
Sure.
Gee, think about this from Watson's perspective. If I'm Watson, like one of the main reasons I'm settling is because I want the uncertainty gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want the suspension, whatever it is. I want to be able to move on. So if he feels like he's got to settle to move on and get that suspension and move on from that, well, he's got to settle them all, not just 20. So
yes.
I find it hard to believe that he'd agree to settle these 20 without at least knowing there's a good chance they're going to settle
And
the others.
that will be a real 180 from him saying, I'm going to fight each one of these until I'm vindicated. I did nothing wrong, and I will not settle. I mean, that was his tone.
I'm looking at old statements from Busby. Busby also said, we're not settling no matter
Both
what.
sides that said
Yeah,
it would
so
say.
Busby was dug in, we're not settling.
Yep.
And Watson said, I'm not settling, I'm innocent, I'm going to clear my name. He kept saying, even when he talked to the media last week at mandatory minicamp, he said, what the most important thing to him is clearing his name.
It's almost like both camps aren't being completely candid in this instance.
Wait, what?
I know. Can you believe it? I'm as shocked as you guys.
Have we seen anything yet? Because if it's not out there, it's coming. And I don't know that. I would love to be able to reach out to Harden or Busby to see if they would come on, because now Harden's going to have to release a statement.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we know that these guys aren't adverse to playing
and
it out
Busby's
in
doing
the
like
media.
32 Zoom interviews as we speak at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I'd like to talk to Harden, I want to know this. We know that Busby's clients have NDAs. He said we can't comment further. I wonder if
Do we have NDAs?
Busby issued the same to because here's the one thing that I would never do a settlement unless this was part of it. You want to be able to stand in front of microphones and say, I maintain my innocence. I continue to say what I've always said. I did nothing,
that's a part of the agreement.
I did nothing wrong.
That's got to be a part of the agreement.
I can't imagine that they would muzzle Watson that way. So I would be looking online for a Harden statement.
Nothing yet.
And I imagine it's going to come swiftly. And I would even think that perhaps Watson might have a line or two in that statement, because you want to be able to get out there if you're Watson and say, I'm not admitting I did anything wrong. What I'm doing was I'm caving to the financial pressure that these women were putting on me to make this go away so I can continue my profession.
That'd be a gross way to put it.
Well, it is a gross way to put it.
I don't think you should put it quite that way, but
what he's going to do is he's going to try to make it seem like he did nothing wrong.
Right.
And that's, in his mind.
I don't think he could say anything until these other ones are settled, though. I don't think he'd do a victory lap
Harden
now and be
can.
like, hey.
Albert Breer just tweeted this, by the way. 20 cases settled, 4, including the initial plaintiffs, Ashley Solis, remain. But getting closer to legal resolution here should make the job of the NFL and arbitrator a little easier as they close in on a decision. Per Tony Busby, the sides agreed to keep terms confidential. So
The sides.
The sides.
Okay, the terms confidential.
Yes.
Yeah, but that doesn't muzzle Watson from standing
true.
up and saying, look, I still maintain my innocence. I did nothing wrong. So let's play this hypothetical. If all 24, and I guess that the other 25 and 26 just miraculously went away.
I don't know. I mean,
he never filed them.
Or the Texans, too.
And he's never filed against the Texans either. So that could have just been a leverage move. It probably was a leverage move. But let's play this hypothetical. We think that July 1st, which is Friday of 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from Friday.
Correct.
I think that's
1 week from Friday.
Yeah, 1 week from Friday.
Right.
And about 2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
If you're looking at news dumps and when's the most strategic time to do that, Friday before 4th of July weekend, which 4th of July is on a Monday, that gives you 3 days. And Jim Donovan was hearing they expected to know before the 4th of July, so I just immediately went to July 1st. So let's say there's 11 days and counting to July 1st. Let's say they settle the other 4. What does the league do if all of these suits are settled? What's the suspension in your? I know it's a guess.
Yeah.
But what do you got?
I've been steadfast the whole time. I've said the same number. I haven't changed. I'm convinced of this. 8 games is what I said originally. I still think it's going to be 8 games. I could see it even get knocked down to 6 potentially on an appeal. But I would be anything more than 8. The NFL is going to have a huge. The NFL has already been marred by this. Anything more than 8. It's going to be a huge fight from Watson and the Players Association. I think 8 is enough to say, hey, we're taking this seriously, but not enough that the Players Association is going to fight it too much.
Were you gone Friday?
No.
What day were you gone last week?
Wednesday.
Were you here the day we did the discussion about the Players Union using as leverage the fact that they were going to fight this forever?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember if you were here that day, because if you weren't, I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
So basically, for those that aren't sure what we're talking about, the Players Association came out and said, we are going to vigorously defend this. And we immediately said, yeah, sure they are. They're going to basically say, we want discovery in the Cowboys, the Redskins football team, Commodores, Commanders, whatever the hell they are.
Yeah.
They were going to ask for things that could have been very embarrassing for the NFL to put out there.
Yeah.
Funny how the train is moving now.
Yep.
After that story
Yes,
came out late
no
last
doubt.
week.
I
Because
think
now the train is moving.
I think 8's the number that both sides, if you
buy
will,
that, Mike?
can live with.
I do. I think that sounds. I think that sounds absolutely right. I think it's like they don't want to do the whole season thing because that would be. I mean, like you said, that's going to be a huge nightmare for them, and it's gonna. That sounds like a scary enough number that it sounds. I don't know if it's fair. What's really fair?
Right,
You
who
know what I
knows?
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that sounds like the right thing. That sounds right.
It sounds. What I'm looking for here is the compromise because the NFL is between this rock and hard place.
Mm-hmm.
If they go too lenient, you're going to have the women's groups and anybody who's trying to advocate for women's rights saying, "Wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
26 women,
And
you're giving them this?" Or you've got those on the other side that are saying, "This isn't commensurate with what you've done with other cases."
And then you got Trevor Bauer at home going, "What the what?
Yeah, exactly.
6 games?
Yeah, I know.
I'm done for 2 years of
He's
my
done for
career."
324
I know.
games.
Man,
What do you think it's going to
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Well, I would have guessed that it would probably be 8 games prior to the NFL Players Association coming up signaling, hey, we got some smoke for you if you want to go down that route. Please just be clear about that. I think now the new suspension is 4 to 6. I think 8 was where it was at until the threats came up. Now I'm looking at a situation where they're saying, I'm going to give you 6. You can appeal. You might get it down to 4.
or maybe 8 to 6.
Or 8 to 6. Somewhere. So for me, the ending result is somewhere between 4 and 6.
Yeah.
Real horrifying question that I've asked before, and I'll ask it again to keep horrifying everyone. This all gets settled. Then all of a sudden, somebody comes out and says, you know what? I was wrong too. And they decide, no statute of limitations, they decide that they want to all of a sudden pursue, doesn't have to be
Yeah,
with,
I don't think-
The statute of
Then you're in
limitation
double
runs out.
jeopardy, aren't you?
At that point, unless it's a more serious charge, like it's a rape charge or
And
something like
and
that,
he's in criminal
I think it's a
court?
non-factor.
So you're telling, what if somebody says, I've
Well,
got
Mike-
these text messages, and I hope this doesn't happen, but what if somebody's like sitting out there?
But they've had every opportunity to come
Yeah.
forward because so many other women have.
Right.
Aren't you looking at another accuser that comes out in 2 or 3 months? Aren't you immediately going to say, where have you been on
Yeah,
this?
yeah, right.
I might.
Like,
I was.
why now?
Plus, if he got 8 games, essentially, let's say it ends up being 8 for 24 accusations. If there's one more accusation of this in the same exact vein,
Yeah.
they're not going to add games because of
Unless,
one more.
to your
I
point,
would-
unless it's something that
yes,
we haven't heard about
unless
yet.
it's a
Right,
criminal
unless it's
level
real
thing.
and by
I'm
the
just
way,
saying you can't just settle with future cases that don't exist.
That statute
And
of
he's got a
limitation,
bit of
I
a
believe,
pattern.
is 2 years on this. The statute of limitation is
It is 2 years?
It's 2
Okay.
years from when the complaint initially happened. So
From when the alleged event
incident
happened.
happened. Yeah.
And I would think that we've been dealing with this for nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
So I would think that would be
If he could settle these other 4 cases, I think they suspend him in the next couple of weeks, and then hopefully we put this all behind us.
I have a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
mentioned-
we have McNuggets reached out to Rusty Harden. Did you tell him it was McNuggets calling?
Steve Becker did, so we'll see how
good.
that
Yeah,
goes.
because I'm just thinking he's more likely to return the call to the
Sure.
show if you tell him, yo, this is McNuggets. We'd like to get you on the program.
I hate
Right.
Connecticut.
But we have reached out to Rusty Harden. We'll see.
And Busby.
Busby,
And Tony
too.
Busby.
And
We've reached
right.
out to both
We'd
now.
take either or both. I'd like both at the same time.
That'd be great.
That'd be
Bring him in
phenomenal.
studio.
Pause. Go ahead.
But I've
So
G.
would
Bush,
Deshaun
that's wrong.
Watson.
That's wrong. I have a legitimate question though, and this legally this is not my expertise.
None
I
of
have a
us are.
question.
We're just
What?
June 30th, discovery date deadline.
yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean that once that deadline passes, the evidence is locked in regardless? They cannot introduce
I bel-
anything new
Yes,
to
I
this
believe
state? Just
so.
so
Well-
everyone out there who may be in my situation,
No,
just clarify exactly
I
what that
believe
means,
there
Jay.
is an avenue to reintroduce evidence that hasn't already that wasn't already known.
According to Law and Order episodes I've
Yes.
seen,
So,
that's true.
Yes.
well, no, this
true.
actually happened in the Roger Clemens thing,
And
which
my
was a
cousin
Rusty Harden
Vinny,
case.
too.
So I don't know exactly what the Texas state laws are, but I would imagine that there would be some procedural
Right.
avenue to bring in evidence that wasn't previously known to the court.
Or to shoot somebody in the face. It is
Right.
Texas.
Now,
Yep.
Bull, do you happen
Yeah.
to have a lawyer on retainer that we could talk to?
I do, but she couldn't help with this situation.
Yeah.
I thought I was just going to joke.
She only looks at my contracts. No, I don't. I used to, but I do not.
So, again, the big news is, if you're just joining us, 20 of the 24, not counting the 25th and 26th, which have never been filed.
Correct.
20 of the 24 that have been filed have now settled. There is an NDA in effect for both sides, so neither side is allowed to talk about the financial terms of it. Watson is allowed to give interviews and to tell his side of the story, to reiterate his innocence, which we expect him to do. It also, I don't know what the women are allowed to do in terms of interview with media. Are they allowed to talk about the case?
Yeah.
Is it a complete gag? I don't know.
How long does this last where you'll ask people, do you believe he actually did it or not? Like, right.
I think this stains him forever, guys.
Do you think that people in their mind will say, now there's a group of people that when they see him, they're like, he definitely did it, or is there still a group of people that
You
say
mean
he
based
definitely
on the settlement?
Yeah, based on
their mind.
Based on the settlements.
I think there will be. I think people have already decided, believe what they believe, and I don't think most people will change their mind, just like their politics, as we talked about.
Yeah. They're
I
dug
think it's
in.
hard to get people to change their minds on things like this. I mean, I feel the way I feel about it. I don't feel any different now that the settlements.
I don't either.
I feel like there's a lot of gray area probably with a lot of these cases. I don't feel like Deshaun. I don't buy that Deshaun Watson is completely innocent. I don't know. I don't have facts.
I feel he did things that he wouldn't have done had these episodes been recorded.
Yeah.
And, my dad always used to tell me, you live your life in front of a camera. When you're not on camera, conduct yourself as if you are.
That's right.
Because you might be. And something you may do may come back to hurt you.
Yep.
If you always live your life as if everything's being recorded, when I had a criminal tell me once he used to steal, and he didn't need to, but he used to tell me all the time, I would go in and case the place and make sure there were no cameras, then I would load up my pockets. Well, just you don't know where there may be cameras that you can't see. So I think there probably things happened in these rooms that he wouldn't be happy about if someone said, I've got videotape evidence.
I know I went
but
through,
I don't know that he...
I got to admit, I kind of went through a red light the other day, like as it was turning red.
Oh, my God.
I'm hoping there's no camera.
Turning
it might be
yourself
busted.
in.
Somebody always told me, man, if you working somewhere or you doing something in this business with somebody, it is best never to have a romantic relationship, any sexual encounters with those individuals ever.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to Kinko's, do not have sex with somebody at Kinko's. Like, that's not cool. Like, you always got to keep
I
it
think
separate.
you're going to have sex with the Kinko's woman.
Nah, it's on a copy machine. They're going to see it. There's all kind of proof in there, right?
That's true.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Speaking of sex on a Kinko machine, let's talk Cavs.
Is our guest
Perfect
ready?
transition.
We do. Rafael Barlowe, Locked On Network's NBA draft expert,
Nice.
is now joining us from Dallas, Texas.
Hey,
What's
thanks
up,
for coming, Rafael.
Rafael, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. Thanks
Yeah,
thank
thanks
you so
for
much.
coming on. We've got a million questions. First and foremost, who are the Cavs going to draft?
I wish I knew exactly, but I think Ohio's own Malachi Branham would be a good fit. I think he's someone that they should consider. I think someone that they will consider.
We hope so. We've heard that name a lot. Why is he a good fit for the Cavs?
Well, I mean, one, I think he's young and fits their timeline. You look at Cleveland, this is a playoff team, essentially a playoff team with a lottery pick. And Branham has the potential to be a 3-level scorer. He actually kind of reminds me of Chris Middleton. Kind of has like this old school, old man game, but it is very efficient, gets to his spots. And if he can develop as a 3-point shooter, now I know he shot 41% from 3 as a freshman, but it was on a low volume of attempts. But if he can become a reliable 3-point shooter, he gives the Cavs some of the spacing that they really need.
They do need that space.
It is so hard nowadays. I know it's not that new at this point, but like the fact that most of the good players are freshmen, generally, it makes it's so much harder to draft. I think about like when I was a kid, even into the 90s, like even the great players, the Birds, the Magics, the Michaels, they would all play at least 3 years in college back in those days, with very rare exceptions. And now that's just like never happens. This is quite a challenge for NBA scouts, don't you think? And guys like you that study this to like judge how good a 17, 18, or 19-year-old is going to be playing against men.
Yeah, and I think you also have to factor off the court. I mean, think about when we were 17 or 18 or 19 years old, how we would react if we had $10-20 million guaranteed in our bank account. Just make it and don't make it. Sometimes it's not talent; it's just maturity. But yeah, I think it's definitely tougher, and it puts all the pressure on the teams. But as long as the teams keep drafting guys that are 18 or 19 years old, then it's not going to change.
We're looking at your mock. It's funny. 20 years ago, you talk about Change Bowl. You could talk to casual basketball fans, and they'd tell you who the top 10 were. Maybe not the order that they were going to go, but you knew all the guys that were going to go.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at these guys going,
I never heard of any of these guys, to be totally honest.
I don't know them.
I don't know any of them.
They're coming from areas we don't even know. So I imagine trying to follow this as you do has to be absolutely maddening.
I mean, you really have to start in high school. You know, you have to start sometimes as early as 16 years old. I mean, I think you can blame LeBron James for that. Not saying that he was the first guy that people followed as a teenager, but he was someone that kind of had a big reputation and had a brand at an early age. And I think now you see that more often. And you don't really see, like, the stars in college. Like, for example, Drew Timme is probably one of the most recognizable college names, but he's not in this draft. And the longer you stay in college, it's almost like the more it hurts your draft stock because they think something's wrong with you.
Wow.
You know, when you look at this draft, last year, when Evan Mobley came out, people were telling me you got Jalen Suggs, you got Mobley, you take a look at the guys, Cade Cunningham, Barnes. You had 5 names of guys who people thought were game changers and people that could potentially be, just generational type guys. We end up getting Mobley at I believe number 3. We get Mobley at 3, and it looks like he's the next coming of I don't know whether it's Kevin Durant or not Durant, but Duncan or Kevin Garnett. Is there any type players in the top 10 that are going to be generation type players, guys that are going to be superstars, bona fide superstars, or is this just a draft class where it's just a bunch of decent, maybe all-star guys potentially as they get older?
I honestly think that Jaden Ivey has superstar potential. I also feel like Paolo Banchero has superstar potential. I think there's going to be some really, really good players. There's a kid, Shaden Sharp. He's the biggest mystery in the draft. He didn't play at Kentucky. He's basically come high school, kind of found a loophole in the system to make sure that he's eligible for the. No, he's from Canada.
Oh, okay.
He's from Canada. Yep. He started off playing. He was the number 1 player in the high school class of 2022. Somehow, he was eligible for the draft, and he went to Kentucky for a semester but didn't play. And right now, I have him at number 11. Most people think he's one of the most talented players in the draft, but he could fall to where I have him going simply because there's such a small sample size. But nobody questions his talent. It's such a risky choice because he didn't play college basketball.
Well, if he goes to the Knicks, he's going to suck because every player they draft sucks.
Assuming that the Cavs are going to stick with Colin Sexton, do you think that first of all, would you stick with Colin Sexton or would you try and trade him? And do you think that his presence will influence who they will pick in the draft?
I like Colin Sexton. I really do. I like him because, one, he just has this elite level self-confidence. And I think sometimes the confidence that he has in himself leads to the questionable shot selection or whatever. But I think that Sexton could have value if you bring him in as a 6-man, kind of the Jason Terry, Lou Williams type role. Maybe, I don't know him, obviously, but maybe like if with a bigger contract, with a second contract, it makes him more likely to accept that role. Mm-hmm. But from his standpoint, I can understand why he may say, like, no, I'm the starter. I deserve to start. But to me, I wouldn't focus on starting. I'd focus on finishing. And I think if you get a guy in the starting lineup that has some size that can knock down open shots, it will make the starting lineup better. And then you can have a dynamic scorer off the bench in Colin Sexton. So I think it all depends on if he wants to accept the 6-man role.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see if he does that. So the international influx of players also makes all this difficult to follow because we don't know where, some of these kids are coming from foreign countries, 17, 18 years old. We've seen tape on most of them, but outside of that, we don't know.
Like a shaky VHS camera from Lithuania.
Right, and we don't know, is that a real video?
Right, you know,
Is it
that
Adam
a fake
Sandler
video?
bringing in a kid? Did anybody see the movie, the Adam Sandler movie?
No, I
Very
heard
good.
Hustle
it.
was excellent.
Yeah.
was
I heard it was
really
good.
good.
I heard it was good. So if not, give us some other names that the Cavs might be targeting, guys that we may end up see with that first-round pick.
So speaking of foreign players, there's a kid, Ousmane Dieng. He's from France, 6'10". He's more of a guard than a big. Now, if you look at his numbers, you're going to be surprised. The numbers look really, really bad. He got off to a really, really slow start. But in the second half of the season, which he played in Australia, in the second half of the season, he ended up turning it on. And I think he could end up going where he was projected to go before the season started. He was a projected lottery pick. And then, like I said, the numbers were bad. But I spent this whole entire basketball season overseas scouting the international prospects.
Wow.
I have a good handle on the overseas players. And one of the things with Dieng, when you look at the numbers, and just to put it in context, he's an 18-year-old kid that's from France, but he spent the season in Australia, and Australia had really strict COVID restrictions. So he was there by himself. So that's a huge adjustment for a kid to be. I mean, think about an American kid going to college, and he may struggle. And now you factor in that he's going to a different country, language barrier, and I think that played a major role in his early season struggles. But he made up for it in the second half of the season.
You've put in the work, Rafael.
Damn.
You've logged some miles for
22
this.
countries.
Yeah, man, I love this. Like, if I won $1 gazillion today, my life wouldn't change. I enjoy watching basketball, traveling, so I'm having fun with this.
Cool. That's awesome. It really is.
I'm trying to
If
think.
I won $1 gazillion,
I
I'd
mean,
start smoking crack, I think.
who paying you? This is crazy, man. He got Spain, Italy, everywhere.
Hey,
You jet
Australia.
setting. That's crazy.
Believe it or not, it's not as expensive as it sounds. It's expensive here in America. So
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
It's
Good point.
Talk that
not as
talk.
expensive as it sounds.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're glad that you spent some time with us. We appreciate it. Rafael Barlowe, he's a draft guru. You saw his resume. The guy's put in the work.
Nice.
And his word should mean something because he's seen a lot of these guys in person. So even if the tape is faked, you're going to know it. You can tell who can play and who can't. Rafael, come talk to us after the draft so we can figure out how we did, okay?
Yes.
All right, anytime you want me on, let me know. I can make it happen.
I love it.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Thanks for the
We
insight,
appreciate
man.
it.
Thank you.
You know what? The guy is a craftsman. He puts a
22
lot of effort and
countries.
energy into doing his job, and you got to respect that.
He
Good
is also
resource.
Locked On's NBA draft guru and host.
For
They're gonna
all
have
of
a
Locked
whole
On, right?
Yep, they're gonna have a whole Locked On NBA draft
Yeah.
special with live reaction and stuff like that. So we work with Locked On very frequently.
Yes.
We're gonna have Chris Manning of Locked On Cavs on Thursday. So
Locked
we just
On's
wanna make
NFL
sure-
draft special was fantastic.
It was.
Yes.
They did a tremendous job.
And hold on, this is crazy. I'm the host of Locked On Browns.
Wow.
This is crazy.
Look
I
at
forgot.
this.
I just got so many jobs, Jay.
Yeah, that's a colleague of
Yeah,
yours.
by the way, he's my colleague. I do Locked On
You'll
Browns.
see him at the Christmas party.
So definitely, you might want to hit that subscribe button. I need that like button too. Me and Jeff Lloyd, you can follow us on Twitter. But Locked On Browns, yeah, we do a daily podcast.
And Bull, you
plug.
do one now too.
I haven't started it yet, but I will be announcing it soon. At some point this week, we'll be announcing
Will
it
it be
started.
daily?
It will be daily.
Locked On.
Wow.
Are you
Locked
guys going
On,
to
yes.
sleep at all? Will you be sleeping?
Yeah, we're fine.
But so me and Bull have been colleagues at like 9 different places.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, very good. What the internet is saying, or do you want to
It
do
is time
good,
for
bet, bad
what
bet?
the internet is saying.
What the
Then we'll do a
internet
little
is
good bet,
saying.
bad bet. And Aditi should be ready any minute. So as soon as she's ready, I will shut up and we'll get Aditi on because she's way more
okay.
important
C,
than me.
Well,
But
C.
as always,
C,
what the internet says is
C.
brought to you by PCC Airfoils. If you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. Plus, get a full benefit package, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. And before we get to what the internet is saying, I will say as I was driving down to Tennessee, I made the trip past all these towns that I didn't know where they were,
Right.
and I felt like I was on the PCC Airfoil Express.
World tour.
Headed down to Canton and
Yep.
then through
Gotta
University.
Minerva.
Say hi to that Minerva branch.
Yeah.
Gotta stop
Orville.
and see
We
the Minerva
stopped at
branch.
each one.
Gotta stop at the Minerva
I
branch.
think they have a softball league. I'm spitballing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minerva's always the team to beat.
Oh, they crush
in the
Domination.
PCC Airfoil
Absolutely.
softball league.
Well, it's their pitching. You know? Thank you,
on this
PCC.
edition of What the Internet is Saying,
Yeah.
over the weekend, Ohio State pulled in another 5-star recruit at
saw that.
receiver. Steve, let's take 95 here. Carnell
insane.
Tate, a 5-star. He chose the Buckeyes over Tennessee, LSU, and Notre Dame. He's from Chicago, and we got some great reactions to this most recent 5-star signing. So, Steve, let's cut right to 96. This is from Travis Howard. He says Ohio State needs to give my boy Hartline a mega signing bonus. The dude is on planet Mars chilling with aliens when it comes to recruiting.
They're not going to keep him.
Who is doing it like him?
Yeah, no one. And he is going to get a head coaching job. He's going to go from a wide receiver coach,
Yeah.
not even a coordinator.
Yeah.
He is. I can't believe we've kept him this long because Brian Hartline, aside from being a great player when he played and had a nice NFL career, he's a terrific guy, but he is just killing it.
It really is amazing. Sometimes we're prisoners of our own local market, but I find it hard to believe that there's a position coach that's done anywhere close to
No,
or
there's
a better
not. And
job
hold
than
on.
Brian Hartline.
Bull, I got
there
proof
isn't.
for this. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's take the next one, Steve. This is 97. This is from RJ Young. He's a college football writer for Fox Sports. Since the 2019 recruiting cycle, Ohio State coach Brian Hartline has earned commitments from 5-star receivers. You can see the names right there. That's 3.5 recruiting classes. That's more than one 5-star recruiting
nuts.
What is
wide
it,
receiver recruit.
hypnotism? What do you think he's using? Do you think it's really at this
to
point?
Columbus.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
impressive. And then this inspired our own tweet from Tyvis Powell, our guy Tyvis. Let's cut to the next one, Steve. Tyvis says it's almost laughable what Brian Hartline is doing. Build that man a statue next to Woody.
Now,
getting to
Tyvus
that.
has
That's
gone
how
too
good he's
far.
been.
Tyvus has gone too far.
Come on,
You think he's
Tyvus.
gone too far?
I mean,
Let him
build
have
him a
a little.
statue?
Come on, bro.
Come on, Tyvus.
Let him have a little
I'm going to rip
hyperbole.
Tyvus
They're
tomorrow.
gonna retire that number 9 jersey and like it.
If you ever have to stand in front of the statue and say,
Yeah.
who is this? It's not worthy.
Right.
Like when you go by the Jim Thome statue, it's clear. Anybody that ever watched the guy play, oh, that's Jim Thome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that if they built a statue for Brian Hartline, a fourth of the people that came up there would even have any clue who it was.
Shots fired, Hartline.
No, and I love Brian Hartline. He's
No,
great.
I know.
He's the pride of Stark County. Stark County. Yeah.
Hell of a player.
Good shout
hell
out.
of a coach. Doing a great job. I just can't imagine they're going to be able to keep him. I'm sure he's probably one of the highest paid position coaches, not
doubt.
coordinators. He's got to be the highest paid position coach in college football right now.
The worst thing
But
is
someone's going to want him.
going to Kent State and being periodically good at basketball. Our school was just watching us succeed and just being like, oh, don't succeed too much because there goes our coach to
Right.
Temple.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey,
no,
listen,
we're
I'm a
gonna lose
Bowling
another
Green
one.
guy. I watched Urban Meyer come and go in the span of 3 years.
I mean, if you're any other Big Ten school, if you're most of these mediocre.
Purdue,
Yeah, right.
Illinois,
Indiana,
Like,
Minnesota.
why wouldn't you take a chance on a guy
Right.
that – because I look at him and say, well, how is he going to be a head coach? You never know. But he's gone to the top in everything he's done. As a high school athlete, as a college athlite, he was a great NFL player.
Right.
I think he was
Now
also a
he's
Mr.
coach.
Hero spokesperson, if I'm not
was.
mistaken.
One of the
Yeah.
best they ever had.
See if we can pull up Brian Hartline in a Mr. Hero picture, if we can, holding a big Mr. Hero sandwich of some sort.
And obviously, it won't be as easy to recruit at those schools as it is
No.
at Ohio State.
But you know what he'll bring with him is his reputation for
No
developing
doubt. I
NFL
still think he'll
receivers.
do well. I
All
still
you
think he'll
need,
do
all
well,
you
yeah.
need is one quarterback. If you get a quarterback at a MAC school, traditionally you look at you.
Well, he's not going to a MAC school.
Well,
I think
well,
he's getting a bigger job.
I
than that.
think he goes. Well, nowadays you can go from 0 to 100 real
Yeah.
quick. In words
Yeah.
of Drake, you can go right over to Northwestern. They've been giving him money way too long. Fitzmagic, what is his name?
They're not
Yeah,
firing.
well-
They're not going to fire him.
No, they're not going to
Pat
fire him
Fitzgerald.
because every 4 or 5 years they compete for
They
the
do
title.
good.
Right.
And for a school like Northwestern that never competed before,
Yeah.
and he played there,
And
he's
they're
not
always
going anywhere.
consistently at least solid
They
most
could-
years.
Definitely
you know.
some Indiana love, Illinois love. He can get some of these ACC school love too. Like Virginia's terrible. Like
Wake Forest.
Yeah, you can go down there and get their money off real quick.
One thing I think we can all agree on, though, is that Brian Hartline is the PCC airfoils of receiver coaches.
There you go.
And that's well
Perfect
said.
way to sum it up.
That's
Best of the
well
best.
said. Yeah,
Best of
you're
the best.
absolutely right. I love how you tie that sponsor right into the conversation.
There you go.
By the way, shout out to my former colleague Anthony Lima, who I believe you ripped last week,
Ugh,
jokingly.
what a jerk.
And Joy, who's somebody who follows. Does Joy tweet at you? Joy on Twitter. She's really good on Twitter.
Joy Taylor?
No, not Joy Taylor. Not
Okay,
Joy.
Different
well,
Joy.
Joy Taylor has not tweeted.
She's not tweeting.
He's actually
She's not
wait.
tweeting at us, Jake.
Stop playing. When did this happen?
She's living in the big leagues. We're not big league enough for Joy Taylor. But shout out to them. They were in my dream last night. I was driving a school bus around Brooklyn trying to find a parking spot for my favorite pizzeria in Sheepshead Bay. They were both in there with me, and we had to be there by a certain time, or we were not going to get the pizza.
Yeah.
But we could never find a
It's
spot.
intense.
Wow.
Nice. Congrats on the
Weird dream.
cameo in
Yes,
Bull's
in my
Dream.
Bull is now
Joy,
giving
and Anthony
shout-outs.
Warner. Shout out to both of them.
Adam
To
Bull's
folks
Dreams.
appearing in his dreams.
Rehashing of Adam Bull's Dreams brought to you
By
by
the way, what did
PCC
you
Airports.
drink right before you went to bed? That is a bizarre drink.
I didn't. Well, it's not really drinking, but I'll be honest. I went to Mitchell's last night.
Oh, all right.
So it was
By the way,
fueled by
prepping
ice
for the
cream.
weigh-in.
By the way, I go to Mitchell's last night. The Mitchell's closes at 10 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
I get there at 9:40, and I'm thinking, like, I'll be in and out. It was packed. That's how crazy Mitchell's is.
Yeah.
No,
It's good ice cream.
9:40 on a Monday night.
Yeah.
It is
it's in
packed.
June.
Didn't they know?
So-
they don't know you? Like you're not like, oh, you can come up front.
No, no. So
He needs to talk.
There's like 40 people in there, and like 38 of them are somewhere between 17 and 22.
Mm-hmm.
So I say to this one kid, I'm like, what is going on that every kid in Rocky River is
They be
here
in
at
there.
Mitchell's? There's some big event tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, no, it's
June.
It's just ice cream. It's great ice cream. I'm like, okay, I
And
get
it's
that.
hot.
He goes, by the way, I'm not 20, I'm 17. I said, kid, when you're my age, it doesn't make a difference.
No, it doesn't. Everybody
And I was
under
like, wow,
30
I'm
looks
really
like
an
they're
old
in high
guy
school.
now.
Yeah.
All right.
Good bet, bad
McNuggets.
bet.
Good bet, bad
We're gonna
bet.
go good bet, bad bet. And for the first time since we launched the segment, Steve, let's get the standings.
Mike
We
went
no
0-3.
longer have a leader in the clubhouse.
Man, that's crazy. For
We
the
have a tie.
first time, I finally took the.
We're
tied
Oh,
now.
I'm still in first place. That count.
We're tied.
Well, guys, hold on. I'm sorry.
Does Mike qualify
Mike
now?
has enough at bats to qualify.
Nah, probably not quite.
Mike
you guys
is
are really putting in the work.
24-8.
Yeah.
That's like the Yankees.
I
pretty
give it to him. I think he qualifies.
Hold on.
I'm giving the qualification.
Yeah. Now look, Tyvus and Brad, they don't have enough
qualify.
at bats.
Brad's getting close. Tyvus is going
We
to
did
take him a while.
77 games. He has 32.
I agree. I agree. I don't
It's
take
close
credit
enough
for
for
that.
me, man.
If
That's
you
a
get to-
large
if-
enough body of work
By
that
the-
you got to pay that some attention.
By the end of it, he will have enough. By the end of the year.
That's nice. I'm right here. You can,
Yeah. By the end of the year.
I can hear you.
Look, by the way, yeah, he'll be
Look,
like
we keep crapping all over him, and all he does is he keeps coming in going 3-0 or 2-1. 2-1 is a bad day for him.
Yeah.
His percentage goes down when he's 2-1.
It's
2-1.
unfortunate.
That's a fact. And the first one, Steve, let's pull it up. This is a Mike Polk special. He's the only one that went bad
no.
bet here. So, Mike,
Yeah.
tell them why
I almost
they're
went
all
bad
wrong.
here. Yeah, I almost did too.
I just I don't like the pitching matchup, as I recall, and I just had a hunch. I just feel like they're hot, and I feel like they might be due for a come down. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
I don't want it to happen,
I was
but
afraid
that's
of
just a
that
hunch.
too. And Savali's been kind of Jekyll
Yeah,
and Hyde.
he's a little.
He's just coming off. You
could
got
be
a
great.
pitcher. So Savali's coming off the injured list to pitch tonight.
Yeah.
The Twins pitcher, Joe Ryan, who was
He's
good
had a
young
good year.
pitcher, but he just came off the COVID list, and his first start back, he was terrible off the COVID list.
Was he with the Cubs?
No.
I thought he was with the Cubs
Hey,
before the
man.
Twins.
So this the worst time in the world to get swept, unless you're Guardians. Do
Yeah.
not come in here and get smoked.
Yeah, please
No.
don't.
Please don't.
No, can't do it. And you know what? The great thing about a team on a roll like this is, as the starting pitcher, you don't want to be that guy.
No.
They're 16-5 in their last 21. Everybody's
Yeah.
looking around the clubhouse saying, "Are you going to screw
Don't
this
screw
up?"
it up, Savali.
So I mean,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's how winning breeds winning, and
Yeah.
that's why the Yankees are 50 and 17.
You know that?
Franimal. The
Yeah.
Franimal's coming
See if
back.
he
He
can hit.
expected to come back
And he was
tonight,
hitting
yeah.
down. He was hitting down in double or triple.
He's going to hit
A lot
again.
of transactions in baseball because today's the first, or yesterday technically, but today for the Guardians, first day, you have to be down to 13 You can't have more than 13 pitchers on
Right.
your roster.
Yep. Okay, what's number 2?
Before we do number 2, the NFL statement on the latest Browns news, quote, today's development has no impact on the collectively bargained disciplinary process.
Lie.
So
Well, no, we agreed that it doesn't change anything.
Well,
And that's what they're saying. It doesn't have any bearing on the collectively bargained process of handing out discipline.
sure, I think it, but I don't buy. I think eventually, when it's all settled, they'll be more likely to come
There's
out with their
still
decision.
pending civil cases.
Yes.
And
Right.
that's the
Yes.
elephant in the room right
They
now.
already know what suspension he getting.
I feel like not only do they know, I feel like the
Browns know.
may have a
Probably,
good idea
yes.
Browns know.
where
Yes.
we're going.
And that's why they kept saying, we're comfortable with our investigation.
Right.
We're comfortable with what we vetted.
Oh,
They already
I don't
know.
buy. You think they knew at that point when
They
they,
had-
said
they had
that?
time.
I don't buy that.
I hope they don't double down on that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they can never be comfortable with their investigation.
yeah.
It was done by a couple of Keystone cops,
pretty soft.
and they claim it was the most thorough investigation they've ever done
Ridiculous.
Right.
in the whole time they've owned the Browns. What are they doing?
Right.
Okay.
All right, let's get to game 2 here. Under 9.5 runs in the Guardians-Twins game tonight. We have a split poll here. 2 bads, 2 goods. Who wants to start off? Jay?
Yeah, I like the under. I think that's a big number for teams that it's a meaningful game. I don't think it's going to get out of hand. I think it'll be close.
I mean, that's 10 runs, bro.
Yeah, the thing, and the Guardians,
Well,
I
6
think
to 5 though.
Yeah.
Guardians have only gone over 9.5 runs in their games, I think only 3 times this month. However, like we said, Savali coming back from the IL. I don't love
Couple
the
of
way he
question
pitched.
marks on the mound tonight.
And again, Ryan, who I like, but just coming back from COVID,
What did he do in his last time?
he was terrible. He got crushed.
Well, I hope that happens tonight.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
I hope the Guardians win 8-0. Keep it under 10. All right,
All right,
let's
last
the last
one.
The last
There was
one
only
was random.
Yeah, random. There was no NHL. The NBA season's over. We could have
Right.
done 3 Guardians bets, but I wanted to switch it up a little bit. So this was another AL Central team over 8.5 runs in the White Sox Blue Jays game today. And G. Bush, Bo on one side, Polk, Jay on the other.
Yeah, the reason I went with the over on this one, guys, even though I like both pitchers, Kevin Gausman and Dylan Cease, they both struggled of late, and neither one. Dylan Cease never goes deep into games, and the White Sox defense has been a disaster. In fact, his last 3 starts, I think he's given up like 10 runs, but they're all unearned. I don't like, even though they did get Tim Anderson back, which will help their defense, but I don't like their neither team, and both teams have bad bullpens. Blue Jays, White Sox.
So this could be a recipe for a high-scoring game.
Yes, with starting pitchers that aren't going deep and bad bullpens.
Yeah, I don't know. I just looked at the pitcher ERAs, and it looked like that was they'd probably be under. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Who knows? You just don't know.
No, it's like, that's why you got to be careful when you gamble. Even the sure thing sometimes.
Put that up there. Put that warning up.
Yeah.
That's good.
Can we?
Right there.
Yeah. Bull has told us before, don't do it.
That's
If you
right.
do it,
Be
do it
careful.
responsibly. Bet what you can afford
Yes.
to lose. All right.
Aditi's still trying to connect. She's not here. So what we're going to do real
Judge
quick
Jay?
is we're going to take our first break of the day. We've gone an hour and 40 minutes with no break.
Broke
Aditi
huge
just texted
news.
me
Just
again.
broke
So the
huge
plan
news
is,
for
Jay,
you.
don't get in the judge robe, but we will do Judge Jay. And then if Aditi comes on, we'll get in. But get the gavel,
Look,
get the desk.
my judge costume is right here.
But do you want to do final takes in the judge costume?
He's quick. He's like,
That's two in a row.
When we come back, we're doing
there.
Judge Jay, and hopefully we'll get Aditi on. So we'll see you guys in 2 minutes.
All right, very good. So don't get in the costume.
boom.
Don't get in costume, but get the gavel. We made the graphics for Polk, so we're going to do Judge
All right,
Jay one
very
way or
good.
another.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Hey Cleveland, it's Adam the Bull. And if you love sports as much as I do, then you've got to be watching the new Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. But if you don't have 2 hours to watch it live or on YouTube, well, there's a podcast version, so you're in luck. Listen to it anytime, anywhere. We're doing things on this show that no one else is doing. We're getting crazy. Find out for yourself. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
What matters most to me is family. Sometimes you don't realize how important it is until you're away from them.
What matters most to Jay? His family. He is a big family man. What matters most to me? My family, my safety, your safety.
I think the thing that most impresses me about Betsy is her versatility. Give her any assignment that involves going in front of a television camera, and she's going to knock it out of the park.
What's new with Betsy and Jay? Weekdays at 5 on 3. Recognize that feeling? It is the feeling of being together, enjoying the company of a familiar face, and sharing moments that matter to you, to me, to us. What matters to some could impact all of us, especially in a place like Northeast Ohio. Here, stories are shared from east to west to south. Stories of perseverance, of family, of love. If a story brings us together, it's what matters most.
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I am a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. I have carried my fandom every city I've ever lived in. People have always asked me, why are you so diehard about Cleveland? It's because I'm from here. And we know how much our teams mean to us. Most of us know that because of our parents. In my case, my father was just a huge Cleveland sports fan. It was really part of our life. It was woven into everything we did. And it was our connection throughout his life. We're back. So, what's the McNuggets? What's going on with Aditi?
She's trying to connect. She's not connected yet.
Okay.
So if she comes on, we'll get her in here.
So we're
but
gonna do
until
Judge
then, we're
Jay.
going to do Judge Jay
We're
and at
doing
least do
Judge
the
Jay.
first question,
Here it is.
which we had talked about earlier. So Jay's getting his wig on.
Yeah. It's not
and
official.
this
until
has
wig's
some
on.
official setup that Jay needs to do
Casual
once
judge
the wig
today.
is ready.
Amadeus.
Yeah, I forgot my robe. I didn't want to go through
He's the
process of doing the
You
whole
look like the
robe.
judge in Put in Bay right now. Just kind of cash.
This is actually how it goes down. You got an envelope.
Yeah,
You might get a favorable verdict.
Little key party.
Okay, the court is in session. I read your complaints. I know
Yeah.
you've been sworn. We have 2 cases on the docket today, so
Wow.
we got to
Ew.
move quickly, McNuggets. Do you want me to explain them, or do you
yes,
want to
you
explain them?
while
Okay.
I'm working with the Didi. So.
You do the second one. The first one is bizarre. So if you've been following this LIV Golf League, or 54, LIV is Roman numeral for 54, and they play 54 holes, not 72.
that's where that comes from.
Yeah. So, but we'll call it
clue.
LIV for the
Okay.
for the purpose of this segment. They're throwing sick cash at golfers to try to get them to go over.
Right.
Phil Mickelson got $200 million. It's reported that Brooks Koepka just went today. No number yet. But guys, Tiger Woods was offered $1 billion, 9 figures, to come over and play golf in this new league. The trouble is it's backed by Saudi money.
Problematic.
And the PGA is now at war with this league, but it's going to be interesting to watch it play out. But it got us to thinking. Everybody has a number. Phil Mickelson's was $200 million. Tiger's number was bigger than $1 billion. He said, keep your money. I'm going to play in the PGA Tour. I'm going to give each of you guys an event, and you tell me what the number is for you to have to play in it.
Okay.
We'll start with Bull. Bull,
Yeah.
the event is the Trevor Bauer Chick-fil-A Golf Classic. How much money would it take for you to have to play in that event?
$26,911.10, Jay.
That is extremely random.
Yes.
Very specific.
Why
Yeah.
26,000?
Well, now I paid it myself. I gotta say it now. That's what I paid to buy my wife's car from Carvana. Including like the warranty and some other shenanigans.
So you basically would pay off your car.
I want to pay off my car. I don't like Trevor Bauer.
I thought your number was going to be way bigger than that.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be a phony. I mean, just because I don't like Trevor Bauer and I'm appalled by Chick-fil-A's stance on gay rights.
But you eat there.
Not often, but
You
I
have
have.
eaten there?
But I
Yeah.
have. Like
You're
I
not
said,
that appalled.
And in the end, what I said to Pat McManaman the other day, and I'll stand by it, is like, if I'm going to rage against the machine about every company I don't agree with, I'll have to come to work naked because most clothes are made in other countries to treat their people like crap.
Yeah,
or they
you're
have
right.
child labor.
Yeah, so you gotta pick your
pick
poison.
and choose where you can.
Okay.
Ultimately, there's worse people to work for, I guess, than Trevor Bauer and Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
So $26,911.10.
I respect that number.
Yeah.
McNuggets, we've got that much in petty cash in our petty cash drawer
Yeah,
upstairs.
thanks. I'll take it.
Let's
Please.
So we can get him in the Trevor Bauer Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
Classic.
I
It's worth it.
hypocritically eat at Chick-fil-A sometimes too. Just so you know, I've walked past like another dude like who also is supposed to care about
Yeah.
things while he's leaving and I'm coming in. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, he's like, I was just using the bathroom. And I'm here to protest.
By the way, I'll take Raising
And while I was
Cane's
here, I
over-
thought I'd grab some chicken.
Even though I have well, the funny thing is, I love Raising Cane's much more than I like Chick-fil-A, but I don't know what Raising Cane's politics are. Maybe
Right, that guy might be way worse.
You know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Just, yeah, but
You
don't
never
learn.
know.
Just
You
don't
never know.
advertise it.
That's why you don't
villains.
tell people.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey, villains, be quiet.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mike, here's your
Great.
McNuggets in my ear. We talked about a couple with Mike. I think what we ultimately
I know what it is.
decided
You
on
want to tell
was
you?
Let's hear it.
you have to go and play in the RNC Classic,
Oh boy.
which is at Trump National.
Oh heavens.
And it's also
What's your number?
It's also
It's
the
also-
Pittsburgh Steelers 6-time
Yeah,
Super Bowl
that's
champion.
what I wanted you to
Yes.
tell me.
Oh, wow.
Celebration golf tournament sponsored by the RNC
Yeah.
at Trump National Course.
This is a
Where little Benny Roethlisberger will be honored.
This is
there.
quite a despicable affair we have going
it
on,
is.
gentlemen.
Yeah. Attendance is optional. You can skip it, or
That's
you can
true.
take a paycheck.
So is a brain.
Right. I would do this. This is my loophole. I would do this for no less than $100,000, and I would donate every single nickel to causes that refute everything that tournament stands for, and I would do it publicly.
Is there a cause against the Steelers?
Yeah,
if there's not, there should be.
I would go to Cleveland Browns charities, maybe.
Okay.
And I do. And what do the other people hate? Who else was involved there?
Well, it's the Trump National and the RNC.
Okay, so and then I guess I'd give some money to who would
The DNC.
No, yeah, I guess the DNC. I'd like it to be something
Planned
more
Parenthood?
specific, though. Planned Parenthood's a possibility. Who's something that really wronged him that he really doesn't like? I mean, you name it, I guess. I don't know. I guess I'd give it to how about Brad Rafflesberger, the guy who wouldn't overturn the election for him in Georgia?
Right. Yeah.
Maybe like
Give
his
it to-
re-election campaign. Something like that just to piss me off.
Okay, so your number is 100,000. That's a respectable number.
And I would donate it every nickel,
You
just to be clear.
You would not profit from this at all.
No.
Unlike Bull, who would take the money and run.
Oh, yeah. Every dollar. Every
And never
penny.
apologize
Yes.
for it either.
Not at all.
You know what? I like your transparency.
Thank you.
Okay, G. Bush, your event, I think you have the easiest one, by the way.
He does.
Yes.
Because you're not, I guess you're not as offended as these two.
That's true.
But your event was the Art Modell Memorial Golf Classic. I love the Raven
great graphic.
on the golf club there. You see the dates.
He looks like he's
now.
crapping
It
himself
is in
right
Pebble
now.
Beach,
Probably
California.
was.
So you actually get a free trip out to Pebble
Wow,
Beach.
that's a bonus.
So that is a bonus. But what is your number to have to play in this event?
See, this is quite easy. See, everybody I know is dang near under the poverty level, so this is a win-win. And I'm keeping the money. I'm not donating nothing to charity.
I don't blame you.
I'm gonna do this for $6,745.15.
Does that number come from anywhere specific, or is it just?
That's the money I want. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that money and bring my mascot Paxton to life. Paxton the Panda is coming to Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show because I'm using this Ravens money to bring Paxton.
Is that how much your mascot costs?
Yeah, $6,000.
You've already done.
You
the
got a
math?
mascot
Yes.
guy?
Right there. It's Panda.
I know, but you're pricing mascot making people like
Yes.
you went
Wait,
online and
or
found.
is- I'm sorry, Mike.
No, please.
Is that how much it costs to get a panda stolen illegally and brought here? or-
Panda suit.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
it is a legal mascot. It's a panda suit.
As opposed to the illegal.
Yeah, there is
mascots?
illegal. You can't. You got to watch where you get them from. Right?
China.
You,
So
you
China,
got to watch it.
Chinese pandas are bad.
The eyes move on their own.
Oh,
It's
that's a nice
electronic.
feature. That's a nice
It's-
feature.
It's a nice feature.
That brings it to life.
It brings it to life, and they're more of a. It's not just you know how you see the guy, and it's the panda head. They got the legs though, not the Brutus the Buckeye. That's creepy. I don't
Right.
Don't have a mascot head with a human body. It got to be all the way.
Yeah, you're right.
completely, all the way.
Is there
lane,
air
pick a
conditioning
lane.
in there?
They do have fans. They have little
Okay.
fans that's
Because
electric.
we might need that. Because the panda suit,
yeah.
I'm guessing in
It
June.
is nice knowing Art Modell would be paying for
I-
that, though, in a way.
No, that is.
I
nice
dressed
knowing
up in a mascot costume once in college, and it was like it was a day like today.
that. Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
I was ready
Pass
to
out.
pass
Yeah,
out.
I did it once for a story too,
Yeah.
and it was only like 70 degrees. I almost had.
I put on the old
God.
Cavs mascot outfit, Whammer, the polar bear. I wore that for a
that
segment
went over
one
big.
time. And yeah, I sweat right through that. It just smelled like Michelob when I was done.
All right, I'm going to make my ruling, and my ruling is it's not because it's the cheapest. It's because I really want to see a live panda. We can take the money out of the UCSS budget, and we can award it to G. Bush. I want to see you golf in California.
Yes.
But I also want to. I want a panda mascot for the show.
That's
Yeah,
so
we need
crazy.
that.
Yeah.
But it's listen, it's gonna be so you don't even know. Paxton, he told me, he said, G. Bush, bring me to life.
Yeah.
This
He
is
said
who's
that
been
to you.
talking to you.
Yes.
Why
Yes.
a panda? How did this come about?
Well, I wanted something like a Kung Fu Panda, right? Because I thought Kung Fu pandas are really. By the way, did you know that pandas only eat bamboo?
I did not know that.
And they get all of their nutrients
You
from
guys didn't know that?
specifically bamboo.
I didn't know
had
it was
no idea.
specifically that, no.
And all they do is eat, sleep, and poop. That's it.
Not
That's
bad.
my life, really.
Not bad. Yeah.
Bull can
good.
be your mascot.
You saw it.
I mean, that's me.
Hey, bro, you
Throwing TV and a little work, that's about it.
Bull is kind of built like a. You ever see the panda arms? He's kind of built like
Bull.
that.
Tomorrow, by the way, we were supposed to have weigh-in day today. We've been
Yeah.
doing it on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
But we decided that weigh-in Wednesday has more of a ring.
Yeah.
It also gives you 2 days to recover from a bender
To
weekend.
work off your
Yeah.
Mitchell's ice cream.
Yeah.
Your
To
late
work
night
off that
Mitchell's ice
Mitchell's.
cream.
I'm right.
So weigh-in Wednesday this
Yes.
week. And so far, we're both in negative territory.
Yes.
I'm a little concerned. We're
you
both
should
going
be.
to stay there.
You should be.
Bull's talking about going to get ice cream.
And
at 10 o'clock at
complaining
night.
about the line.
Man, pissed off about
The
this.
court objects to that, by the way. I mean, get your ice cream early in the day so you can work it
Fair.
off. The worst
Fair.
thing you can do is throw ice cream in the
Terrible.
gullet and then go take a nap.
Don't take
I
eating
didn't
advice.
watch TV while I ate my ice cream.
I'm about to
Plus,
see.
it was
I got
nice.
I got a weight loss thing. I'm about to drink some cayenne tea, and I'm gonna put Vaseline all over my body and saran wrap myself.
Oh my God.
By the way, how about this? I call my doctor. I've seen my doctor yesterday. She gives me a number to call with the UH has a clinic that helps people weight loss. You get
Sure.
counseling.
You're
and a
going down
diet
that road?
I wanted to go down that road, right? I called to make an appointment, and the soonest appointment is December.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Hey.
December?
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's that way with any
I thought
doctor
that was like the
appointment.
one good thing that we all paid for our health insurance here was that you didn't. Everybody always complains, well, Canada has health insurance, but you got to wait forever. I got to wait 6 months.
It is the
I could be
holiday
dead in
season,
6
though. It'll be
months.
nice to lose weight around then. That's when it really gets tempting, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that
true.
whole so.
Yeah.
I say do it on your own, but keep the appointment for December, because if you wait until December to
does
schedule
stink,
it, you're
though.
out
That's
till
lousy.
June.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have one other case on the docket. I
Yeah.
thought this was the easiest decision in the history of decisions.
This could be an easy decision, but this is a decision and a case that involves two people that I know that they asked me to rule on, and I said I am not certified by the court of judgment officials.
I will hand down an official
You
ruling
are.
today, but I will ask for some opinion from
yes.
from the kangaroo court here.
I hope we're all on the same side of history here, because I do think there is a clear answer. But
God, I
just
can't believe this was even a dilemma.
Texas.
One of
once
these,
again,
one of your friends is kind of a jerk.
I haven't seen.
We'll
this
see.
yet.
We'll see.
All right.
And Aditi could not connect today. She will be on with us tomorrow, so she wants to apologize to all the loyal
All right.
UCSS viewers out
She's,
there.
she's held in contempt of court. Then.
Yes, till
Back
tomorrow.
She has to eat meatloaf for punishment.
Is she using like an AOL connection or something? Like
She's
that?
on a remote location for a shoot. I
see.
can't disclose exactly what that is. Maybe she can tell us tomorrow, but
Wow.
there was a little
double
dilemma.
secret probation.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so
let me
explain
just-
this case. This is a
Yes,
joke.
let me set up this story here. Steve, let's take 109 and hold that for a sec. When I worked in Texas, I worked at KAGS. Justin Woodard, KAGS Justin in this, yes, Steve, take it, is the sports director at KAGS. So he was my boss at the time.
That's the name of the TV station, KAGS.
KAGS, yes. Ben Peck, who is the Ben referred to here, is who replaced me. So these are two people I know pretty well. This is the situation. Justin asked Ben for wings and fries if he went to Hooters. He said, I will Venmo you when I get back to the station. Ben said he didn't Venmo me in time, so I didn't get him any wings. Steve, let's cut to the next one, right to 110 here. I asked Ben what was his situation here, and Ben said the terms were clear. Send me a Venmo desired by the time the order is placed, not just you got me wings right. So before you guys weigh in, just know this. Ben and Justin are the two most typical Hooters orders of all time. So, not sure if that affects or
The
weighs in
most
on your
typical
judgment.
Hooters order was?
Yeah, you know, if you think of guys who would go to Hooters, Justin
Okay,
and Ben
like
both fit
like
that
they're
description.
chuds. They're a couple of D-bags. Is that what you're saying?
No, they're good dudes, but they just
No, you called them D-bags. Guys that
they're
like,
not D-bags.
How are you
but-
supposed to
Can we
interpret
strike that from the
Hooters
record?
regulars?
I'm guessing much of our audience has
Oh,
and,
sure.
and
Listen,
likes to.
Yeah,
They're good
I'm
wings,
no-
though.
yeah,
no
but not for
stranger
the
to-
food. You don't go to Hooters for the
The
food.
Hooters got good wings, man.
People go to bat for them. I disagree.
They don't?
I disagree, but
They crispy.
I know they got like
They're
they got
done.
like 8 pounds of breading on them. It's like it's
Yeah,
like
they're not the.
No.
Listen, I obviously can appreciate fast food, but if you ever say your favorite anything is from a fast food place, you have no food credibility.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there
By
are
the
so
way,
many better places
I went to
get
the Sleepy
wings.
Rooster again on Father's Day morning. Fantastic.
Sleepy
Wow.
Rooster, don't sleep on it.
Oof.
They're in South Russell, I think.
Yeah, right on the borderline.
Where Bainbridge, Chagrin Falls,
Yeah.
South Russell.
Oh,
It's a breakfast place over there. I featured it on Channel 3.
Your Honor, I do feel like we should address the topic at hand. We've got something
I
very
Venmo
important
first
going
or
on.
later
Sorry,
is the real question
Go ahead.
here.
Look,
Yeah.
the guy that didn't pick up the wings because the Venmo didn't come through yet, is that Justin?
Justin was the one who asked for wings. Ben didn't pick it up.
Ben is a loser.
Ben, this court finds you absolutely guilty of being
Does
a bad
anybody
friend.
side with Ben?
No.
Here's
that's weak sauce.
Ben is a D-bag. The only
Well, that's strong. I mean,
have one,
he is our man's friend.
No, he's a D-bag.
I have a lot of D-bag
No offense,
friends.
but
I have a
he's a
lot of
D-bag.
D-bag friends.
I don't want to go that far.
Here's
though.
the
Geez,
here's
the guy
the
just,
only potential excuse for not getting the wings. is if he's been screwed over by this
Yes.
guy before.
If this is habitual,
Has
we need
he
to know the
ever
history.
screwed this guy over?
Is there
he's
any
been-
evidence that
Like
this
we
has
all
happened
have
in the
one
past?
scumbag friend who never pays
Right.
or
Yeah,
something
If
like
that
possible.
were the case, I might give him a pass for this.
Yeah.
Hey, man, this is unreal.
Mike, do you know?
Is this
I haven't worked with Ben personally because he replaced me, but
Yeah.
Justin's usually pretty good at paying. He's
So
pretty good
if
at
we
paying.
go under the assumption that Justin has never screwed Ben over,
or even
then
if he
Ben
did it-
was way out. That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
And first
Ben-
of all, it's wings. Like, how
What
much
is
did
it?
that cost?
$10?
If that, yeah.
12 bucks?
Now look, the only way he got this off. Now, I assume are both these guys white guys?
Yes.
There's no way in hell they live paycheck to paycheck.
How is that relevant? Well, hold
not
on. How is that relevant?
white
Hey,
guys
G.
look
Bush,
like
you
that.
never worked in local TV before, bro. Trust me.
Dude.
It is not a lot of money down in KA.
We're
Here's-
talking
look at
jobs that pay in the teens
Here's-
annually, which comes out to like $6 an hour.
Okay.
Okay?
Here's what the gist of what we're saying here. Anything under $20, that's free. If I give you $20 and you don't pay me back,
We can slide on that?
that's $20.
You shouldn't slide. I think it's uncool to do it, but-
I'm never gonna come up to you and be like,
I
Joe,
need that
I need
17.45.
that.
I
I gave
shouldn't
you
have to
20.
come up to you.
I gave
You
you
should pay
20 and
somebody
you didn't
back.
give it back.
You should pay somebody back.
But
No one
but
should
you
ever
always,
have to ask for the money
right,
back.
but you
that you've
always
lent them.
lay it out for someone unless it's a
you
significant purchase.
You cannot count. If you buy this is man law 205.
Yeah.
If you in these clubs and you buy a girl a drink, she don't gotta give you a phone number. She don't gotta talk to you. You give her the drink and roll out.
So this guy's. By the way, guys,
Your
what do you
friend?
when you go out with a bunch of your buddies or whatever, do you just split the check evenly, or do you like find what each person pays?
totally situational.
It
Yeah,
depends.
it's completely situational.
Yeah.
It all depends.
Usually,
And
I'm
it was-
all about splitting, but there was one time when my wife and I were just a few months into dating. We went out with some of her friends, a bunch of couples, and they all ordered like all these bottles of wine and whatever,
yeah,
and
so
we
now that's
weren't
not
drinking
cool.
at all.
Yeah, you should not have to pay for
And
their alcohol.
everybody split it, and I didn't want to be like the cheap
were
guy.
they- were
and at
they
the
all-
time, I was living a paycheck
Were
to
those
paycheck
people
at
all
the time.
well off?
I don't know, but I wasn't.
Because that's the thing. A lot of times they just assume like everybody's fine.
Yeah.
If you-
I've been in those
we didn't
situations.
have
like,
a-
well,
Well,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know what? I'll
yeah,
say.
that's it. That's it.
but I still
I'll
paid
give a
my
verdict
share.
on that case.
Yeah.
I think it's incumbent upon those that are ordering excessive items
Yeah.
to understand
Yes.
and recognize that. So when the bill comes
Reel that
around,
in.
you actually figure that in. So you tell someone, instead of splitting this 4 ways,
Yeah.
split it 5 ways, and Adam's got 1, and split the other 4 between these 3 cars.
Right, and I paid.
They'll do that.
I ended up paying the even because I didn't want to make a big thing. But
Yeah.
like when if I were in that situation reversed,
I would never
yeah. hold the other
nor
person.
would I.
Yeah.
I would always offer
entitled
to let
wealthy
me get.
people who have always had money and stuff like that. A lot of times they just assume they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we just all put our cards in the
What's
middle
the
and it goes
difference?
away,
Yeah, right.
and they
Or-
just don't know any better.
Now,
Or
I'll tell you-
if you're that rich, it means, oh, you paid for it this time? Okay, well, I'm
Yeah.
going to pay for it next time.
Well, you can. This raises the stakes a little bit, but you can play. You can play credit card roulette.
Okay.
And you
yeah.
put 4 cards in the pile, and you can either rock, paper, scissors to see who comes out.
You do
can
that?
pick a number.
That's a big- I
Absolutely.
like that.
That's
I
called
like
when you
that.
all make real money, though. That is
Yeah.
not a
But here's
low
the thing.
roller type deal.
No, it's not. I mean, if the bill's $300 and you don't have it, then you don't want to go in. But if you've got 4 guys that are all in on it, and you say, yeah, throw the 4 cards in, one of them comes out, you got a free dinner.
Mm-hmm.
This is a funny statement. When I was dating back in the day, right? There was this really
You did
hot-
this with a date?
No, this really hot girl. She told me this, and that's the way I set it up. So back in the day, I used to fake in front. I have a Louis Vuitton joint. I got Gucci flip flops on.
Is anybody
I got
buying
a
it?
Ferragamo belt. They like
Were
I-
they knockoffs or real?
No, they was real. So I had these pictures, and this girl went out with me when I was in Charlotte on a date, and she was like, at the end of the day, I never forget it. She was like 2 or 3 years older than me. So she had like her real job. Like she had a real job, career
She was a
woman,
grown-up.
put together. She said, you know what? You're a really nice guy. I like you. She was like, in about 5 years, you'll be all right. She was like, but you can't fool people on the internet. You shouldn't fool people. And I said, she said it in such a way. She's
Wow.
like, you're
It
adorable.
cut.
She said, you're adorable. And she's like, but look,
Well, that puts you in the friend zone.
she was like, you're adorable, but I have a certain lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
I got a certain lifestyle I'm trying to live. You know what I respected it the most is I said, yo, she was so hot. I said, you know, I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna go ahead and tuck that away. Now I got a man law rule.
Did you hook up though?
No. Like we're not gonna get to.
All right. You gotta
Never
get
kiss and tell.
Not
but
on the show.
always.
But
But-
not on the show.
Always kiss and tell.
Yeah.
But I will say this. What she had me do, she said, it hit me. If you got if your outfit is $500, $1,000, you gotta have a ratio. If your ratio in your pocket ain't ready to go, you can't have a $1,000 outfit and have $25
false
in your
advertising.
pocket. Because now you get to the restaurant and she crack open that bottle of wine, your heart dropping like, oh Lord, they ain't got prices on that. So if you a dude and you got $1,000, you gotta at least have $500 in your pocket. So
Yeah.
don't spend all your money
So
on
it's 2 to 1?
It's
Is that
2 to
about the
1
It's a
ratio.
class in how to be shallow.
She gave,
No, she did him a
God.
favor.
She did
actually,
me a
gave
favor.
advice.
she
It's
gave
hard
you a
to
better
hear.
gift. She gave you a better gift than hooking up. She taught you a lesson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And sometimes
Now he goes to dates in shorts and flips.
Exactly.
And plus, somebody said, "Hey, you know how somebody you go to an interview, they don't hire you, like you just didn't fit the culture." Sometimes you can go on a date and just don't fit the culture.
Yeah, I've been told that.
Some people want to eat,
Oh, yeah.
drink. They want to go on boats. That's how you met me like that. You better sustain me like that. So you either gonna have to get 2-3 more jobs, or you gonna have to plea bargain. I'm about plea bargaining.
Yeah.
I'm cool. My wife loves me for everything. $5-10, we good.
But isn't it so much better for you? There's no bait and switch.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I always tell people on the first date,
Yeah.
just be you.
Do you.
Because eventually
gonna
trying
get
to
found out,
fake like
yeah.
you're something else takes a lot of energy.
Relationship advice from you in that wig is fantastic.
Hey, we got time for Polk's final
I
take.
have been
and we'll
married
wrap
to
it
the
up.
same
So,
woman
Polk,
for 35 years.
Real quick, final take, and it actually connects
That's
to
gotta go.
what we were just talking about, and I can't believe that this was actually uttered just moments ago, and that was, I mean, how expensive could it be? It's just some chicken wings. I'll tell you how expensive it can be right now. Chicken wings are astronomically priced. I mean, it's been a problem for a long time. They've been creeping up. Even pre-pandemic, it was getting out of control. And I'm a huge wing aficionado. I love chicken wings. I absolutely love them, and it's been painful to see. It's now reached like a crescendo though that has to be addressed, because we're coming back from Canton, and we're going past a Quaker Steak and Lube. I love Quaker Steak and Lube. Big fan of the wings. Love the wings. All right. And are you mad at me? Or are you talking about prices?
He got it. Talk that stuff, Mike. Talk to him.
Quaker Steak and Lube. Raised in Youngstown, 20 minutes from Sharon, PA. So we would go up there for all-you-can-eat days all the time when I was a kid. It was like $6. And I know I sound like an old man going, back in my day, it was $6 for all-you-can-eat wings, get whatever you want. But even as recently as 5 years ago, they had a buffet, a lunch buffet. It was like $13.95 or $14 or something like that, but you got salad and you got wings and stuff like that. I'm coming back. I'm gonna grab some wings, some of my favorite ones. Arizona Ranch, that's my favorite flavor. I'm gonna get those. Didn't even get the divider because it costs an extra $1 to divide the wings if you want 2 different flavors. And I'm not made out of money. So I looked though, 20 wings. Take a guess. Go ahead, take a guess. 20 wings at Quaker Steak and Lube right now.
$10.
No, 28.
No, not more. $1 a wing. No way.
$28.99.
You guys are living in a dream world. $37.50.
What? Are those? Wait, though. Are they the
chicken
big?
wings. No, they
meaty?
are chicken wings. They are half of a chicken wing. Yes. Wing prices are outrageous right now.
Wait, is that just there, or is
And I
that
didn't get them.
everywhere?
I didn't get them on principle.
Man.
No,
By the way,
it's especially expensive with Quaker Steak and Lube right now, but wing prices are expensive everywhere. Part of it is a legitimate market thing. Wings, until our youth, was really considered a trash part of the chicken. You threw away like the neck or something like that. Somebody finally figured out you could make some money off them and fry them up, but they were cheap. They were garbage meat for a long time. But then they became like trendy. Then people started putting goddamn oregano on them and stuff like that. And all of a sudden now,
Hey, they're good with oregano.
Oh, exactly. They are good. They're good with everything. That's the problem. People figured it out. Then wings got more and more expensive. People, supply demand. But now what they're doing is they're getting away with something, because I did this as a research, as like a story on my hard-hitting news job at WKYC News. I investigated the wing prices, sat down and talked with somebody. I'm not going to talk about which
Is that
manager.
coming on?
It will be on, yes.
We
but
will also run that on this show.
Let's
and
run
we'll
it
get
on
to
here.
Yeah.
We'll air it on here. But I looked into this. I'm talking to the manager of one of these wing places. Their prices went up during COVID because they couldn't get any wings. And then I said, did that mean that people stopped buying? Did your sales go down? They're like, stayed the same. And I'm like, so what's
they're
the
never
motivation
going
to
back
lower
down.
it?
They're happy to price gouge.
What's the point of lowering the price then? And he's just like, there isn't one. And I'm like, well, there you go. Now, and that's the problem. That's why we're screwed. People have proven that they are willing to pay these ludicrous prices. Otherwise, Quaker Steak and Lube isn't offering them for that.
No, you're
ridiculous
right.
amount of
If they're still selling the same amount
Yeah.
of wings, they'll never go
What's
back.
the point? Why are they just gonna be like just out of the only thing that'll do it is if it becomes a supply, if it becomes like a competition thing.
Right.
If one place decides, if Harry Buffalo, so this is my plea to Cleveland area and I guess nationwide restaurants. You guys want to get in our good graces? We know that you're ripping us off on chicken wings right now. We know you're getting away with something. But you can be the good guys. You can be the American heroes that I know you're capable of being, you chain restaurant, you. You be the ones who say, we are bringing back the cheap wings. We're the ones who are going to give you lower priced wings, America, because we at Harry Buffalo, Winking Lizard, whoever you are,
Look
we
how
care
Steve is
about
zooming in on you right now.
All right.
Look how close you are.
But anyways, that's my advice to you. You can own us. You can own this wing market, Cleveland. Somebody sack up and start charging reasonable amounts of money for wings, and we will be at your beck and call.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
$1.50 a wing.
It comes out. It's $2 a wing.
$2 a wing. I just looked this up. We've got a minute. We got to be off the air. 1.42 billion chicken wings were consumed on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah. Right.
In the U.S. That's 3 wings for every man, woman, and child.
Amazing.
How many chickens are there?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
That's one day.
Yeah.
Rapid fire, number one.
You get 40 seconds.
40 seconds,
40
go.
seconds.
We got to be off at 1:10.
Of course, Mike, the skinny guy, is eating salad at the salad bar at that
With
place.
wings.
And by the way, gas station in Phoenix, I was reading an article charging $1 less for gas. People should do that too.
There you go.
Charge less for gas.
We got to go. McNuggets is having a coronary. Back tomorrow at 11. Aditi will be here. Leroy Horde will be here, and much more on the settlement news from Deshaun Watson.
We missed you, Dee Dee. Bye.